Welcome to another episode of Dungeons & Dragons Tomb of Annihilation. Perfect intro. I'll leave the recap to Kashcah, but otherwise... What? I always do the recap. It's your turn. Let's start off with introductions, shall we? We'll start off with the most important member of the crew, the Dungeon Master.
I disagree with that point completely.
No game if there's no DM.
Well, hello. Anyway. There's also no game if there's no players, so...
That's true. That's true. And that is Kashcah, of course.
Hi.
Next to her we've got Rorax.
Hi. Out of game, I am Rorax, and I am a YouTuber, and I have a channel over at www.youtube.com/RoraxPlays. But in game, I'm Aelia, the Centaur Cleric. Aelia, sorry.
And then next to her we've got Nerevar, who is not going to be able to join us today, sadly. He and his Eidolon companion shall be missed. So, but if you guys are interested in checking out Nerevar, he does also run a Twitch channel. Look up NerevarDZN. Next to her, we've got next to him, we've got Kellisto.
I'm Kellisto of the Bear God Clan, and I am a half-elf druid.
Wow. Okay. No fun.
It just rolls right off the tongue.
You like practice it for hours or something, it seems. Okay.
I do. That's what I do all week.
Gonna get it this week. All right. And then next to Kellisto, we have Lyssa.
Sorry, I'm Valia Bonesmasher. I am a Lizardfolk Barbarian, and I have my lovely sight companion Flippy, who is a baby. Oh, I would say he's kind of a toddler accent.
And then
Flippy can kill now.
Yeah, he has. I think he's like got 3 kills or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Pretty crazy.
He's putting little notches on his beak.
It's a notch beak.
There's plenty of room on that beak. I'm just saying.
And then, of course, it's myself. I'm Vallen. Most of the content on the Mischief of Mice channel comes from me, but it is all in part and partial to many other helpers. So I'm also playing a character by the name of Ulfgar Holderheck, a dwarven bard who is also a member of the Emerald Enclave, who's kind of a negotiator between city and forest to try and help maintain the balance, and is trying to maintain the balance in this group, that's for sure. So, Kashcah, care to give us a slight recap?
What? So you managed to collect the Black Orchid from Nangalore, from the Gardens of Nangalore, and you were heading back to Kir Sabal. When some weird things started happening, the weather got kind of weird, and you made camp for the night in an abandoned, kind of tumble-down house. And you found a little door in the back that led to some fairly creepy quarters that looked like they were perhaps been used for like ritual kind of burial or burial rites at some point. You also found that they were still kind of inhabited by some slightly not still living things. So most rooms have been cleared out, so most of the baddies, maybe all of the baddies, have been dispatched. And we pick up here, I think you'd headed back up to the ground level, if you will, because this was quite deep underground. Headed back up to the ground level to take some rest, because everybody was kind of hurting a little bit, running out of spells and whatnot. So yeah, we pick back up, I think, where most of you are up top. Yeah, and that's where we pick it back up.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, I think we were all taking a rest with, what was it, Vorn, our shield guardian companion that we dug up and brought with us, kind of excavated. And he was just going to kind of sit in front of the doorway while we all tried getting some sleep in the bubble of protection that Ulfgar can make?
Yeah, actually, I think we'd finished that because I seem to remember the night passing without any interruption.
Okay, that's what I was actually waiting for because I didn't refresh anything. I wasn't sure.
Yeah. So you have all benefited from a long rest at this point.
Oh, thank goodness.
Dawn is kind of breaking. The weather seems to have lifted a little. It's not quite as dark and foreboding as it was before. There's just a light rain going on. Yeah.
So I think Nerevar and, or rather Tobias and Arokh definitely want to go first. I'd imagine that they're probably going to stay back and keep an eye on Vorn and Flippy.
Yeah, don't worry about those guys. I will take care of them.
Okay.
Take care of them.
Yeah, that's what I'm afraid of.
Yeah, coming from the GM, that's not really.
Yeah, so they're definitely not going first. So.
All right, let's
heading back in.
No, that would definitely be Aelia. She would be wanting to get down there ASAP.
All right, then let's head down. I'll just plop myself in there for the moment.
Yeah.
Who all's coming downstairs?
Didn't we just come from there?
Yeah, we
I don't
were.
want to go back.
There were openings on the sides though, like over here and over here, that were discovered.
Aelia shouts back, I need to make sure that this place is sanctified.
Indeed. We've still got some re-deads on the ground as well. I don't think that we like burned them or decapitated them or anything, so maybe they might have all come back to life by now.
I mean, you want to take one side and we can take the other. I mean, what's going to happen on the Valia and Kellisto show today?
Yeah, let's
favorite thing.
Let's go this way, and we'll have the Lizardfolk go first, because you know, bad things happen when the dwarf tries to sneak. So,
so what you see before you actually is just this little alcove. Ulfgar, if you remember, you got a ping of like magicalness from over here.
Yep.
From the wall, but it's just it's a wall.
All right, I'd like to inspect said wall for dwarven passageways or other mystical magical openings.
Can you describe how you're inspecting it, please?
First, physically with my hands, while also looking upon said door. And if that doesn't help, then I will re-ritual cast Detect Magic to try and find a more precise way of perhaps opening, if there is a door, or finding what exactly is glowing.
Yeah, so you put your hand out to kind of, giving the wall a good pat down, basically.
Right.
Put your hand out to do that, and it just goes straight through.
By the beard! Did you see that?
I'm gonna take my hand and just kind of push him forward.
I see that. Oh! I stumble through.
Look, you're magical. It's a miracle.
All right, hang on, let me.
I thought that
Aelia,
was
for once, giggle.
I thought that was questionable stonework there. It looked a bit off to me. Well, let's actually zoom in a bit. This is getting a bit, like, really far away.
I'll just step through it.
Okay, as you.
Just yell back, come on in, the dust's fine.
So as you step through, that you hear like a crunching underneath your foot.
Yeah. And I look down.
And there's this, what looks like just a multitude of
fortune cookies.
Yes, they all say you are dead.
Fortune cookies. Well done, you killed the fortune. No, dead spiders. It looks like they're all spiders.
Okay.
Oh, I look at Ulfgar. I don't like this. I don't like it at all. remember that one time we were sleeping and in the house and there were spiders, a big giant spider, 3 of them.
I also remember one time you poked a pulsating corpse and it exploded in an insect infestation.
They weren't spiders, so that doesn't count.
No, but one might counteract the other, so I think we're alright.
I just kind of yell back to the door, we have spider bodies. Gross.
Are the spiders seemingly dead or alive?
They're dead.
Aelia says, look up.
I look up.
I just shake my head. Nope. Nope. I'm just gonna back out. Or just back out to the door.
So you look up Ulfgar, and yeah, the ceiling, Aelia called it, and the ceiling is just covered in like webs. But they're pretty empty looking.
Right. Questionable. So I'll use Mage Hand and like kind of swish some of the webs up above to see if anything happens.
Watch for exact.
Quick, I need an aerosol can and a lighter.
Morbid.
I pull out my torch with that lighting. I was like, I can help you.
So your swishing of the spider webs just kind of dislodges them. Your mage hand gets covered in all these little webby bits that it's like can't get off your hand.
You get rat bones raining down on your head.
Yeah, it looks like there's like some bits falling, you know, little insects or larger insects that have been wound previously, and those little encapsulated dead bodies are kind of falling on you a little bit. But yeah, the webs kind of just swish away mostly.
I guess I'll be wary that I could still very well be attacked in here. But I will slowly make my way towards what I can only assume is some kind of chest in the room, or is that just...
No, that is, yeah, what you see in front of you is a chamber with smooth walls. Kind of, as you've seen before, they're disintegrating a little bit in some places and water is seeping through. And the whole room has that kind of dank, musty smell to it. But you do see like you saw in the other chamber, a metal banded chest in front of you. It's, you know, probably about up to your mid-thigh in height. So it's, well, actually for you, probably up to your waist, Mr. Short Dwarf. Yeah, and that's pretty much what you see in here.
I'll have you know I'm full size for a dwarf. Thank you very much. I am not a small dwarf.
I'm like, this doesn't make me feel good. If there's not a spider in here, I don't want to go to the other room.
It's just a bunch of corpses. It's fine. Come on in. And
go see what's in the box. What's in the box?
And I'll move a bit closer. And I'm assuming that there's still a hallucinatory wall behind me, so others can't see what's going on unless they come in.
That is true.
Okay. Why don't you at least stick your heads through? And
Valia is the most like wrath, so
I'll use Mage Hand to like touch the chest to see if anything happens.
Oh.
Spider Jack in the box.
Okay. Does it look like the chest is latched and locked, perhaps? Like it could be? Or does it look like it's just sitting there and I could just lift the lid?
And there is like a fairly traditional looking lock on the front of it.
I think I'll inspect it for traps. I don't want to touch it.
Okay.
Like visually.
Good look
yeah, like walk around it, inspecting it for some kind of traps if possible.
Okay.
What would you like me to do? Anything?
I would like you to, if you're not going to touch it, I would like you to roll a perception check.
Excellent. Okay. What do my dwarven eyes perceive? A natural 20.
Oh, good grief. You perceive an old dust and web. It's kind of webby, but still certainly cobwebby. Covered metal banded chest.
I'll thunder wave it. No, I'm kidding.
You don't see any kind of indication of a trap.
Okay.
Do you want me to break the lock?
Let's see if it's unlocked first, and I'll actually take my. I'll put my shield on my back, and I'll take my shield in my left hand, and I'll actually like put it on the chest to see if there's any reaction to me.
No reaction.
Okay, then I will. I'll look to see it. Does it look like it's got a padlock or something like that on it, or does it look like it is actually unlocked?
So it doesn't have a padlock on it. It has like a metal plate in the front that has a keyhole in it. So the lock is like built into the body of the chest. It's not like a separate padlock that you could.
I try just like lifting the lid to see if it actually opens.
It does not open.
Okay, then.
You stick your eye down there at that keyhole.
I'm gonna try just moving the chest, like put my shoulder down to it and try moving it a little bit. See if it feels like it's got stuff in it, perhaps. I feel like I could judge wood and iron banding, perhaps.
There's this noise as the bottom of the chest scrapes across the stone floor.
I just put my hand on my hip and hold my javelin in the other, and I'm like, "Are you gonna hug it next?"
Aelia yells through, "Was that a giant undead spider?"
Ulfgar looks at Valia, gives her a big wide grin, and gives the chest a big ol' hug.
I just like put my hand in my face to shake my head. I'm like, "No, that's just Ulfgar in here having his way with the chest. Y'all want to come in?"
No, thank you.
Do you want to come in?
It appears
it's not pretty.
It appears this chest is locked. We could try smashing our way in, but if it's got fragile contents, it could get damaged in the process.
I just giggle. I'm thinking to myself, out of game, just seeing this like exclamation point over your head. So I just look at it. I'm like, oh, okay. Can I get closer and inspect the lock to see if I might be able to break it?
Yeah. Make an investigation check.
Mine are never good.
Nope, that's not good. You know what? You think you could force this thing open? You are sure of that?
Alright, I'll give it a go. I will try to. I guess let's see what kind of you.
Well, you've got claws. Can you just rip it apart?
I might break a claw. I'll give it the good old like just grab a hold of it and try to rip it off.
Best response.
Are you pulling the lock like off the chest, or what are you?
Like you said, it's a flat, like just old school, just key. Trunk lock. I have a shield. I'm gonna try to shield bash it. So
you're gonna kind of bring it down on the.
Yeah.
On the locker, the mechanism, or on the?
Yeah, on the mechanism if I can. If it, or it sticks out a little bit, just like kind of right there where it. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Make like a strength check. Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah, you see the lock kind of like is you whack it really good with the bottom of your shield. And the whole thing just kind of goes and crunches like out of its previous location. So it's kind of like sitting like askew, like it's tilted outwards and bent downwards. So.
Okay.
Ulfgar looks back to the rest of the people at the invisible wall thing and says, Alright, never mind that key. I don't think that's gonna work anymore.
I just shake my head. I'm gonna take my javelin and kind of try to lift. It might be too heavy, but I'm gonna attempt to lift the lid off while we're at a distance because I don't want to put my face in this thing. Just.
So yeah, you jam the edge of your javelin in there and start using it as like a lever, and you do see the lid is like lifting. So you could like push your javelin in further and totally open it.
Ulfgar just walks up and then lifts the lid.
Okay.
He's like, look out, there's a spider on your foot there. As he does it.
I just let my javelin slip and smack him on the head.
Oh! That's smart.
Sorry, it's a little slick in there.
Aye, it is. Here's your stick back.
Okay. So inside is the sparkling void. Now, so it looks like it's a bunch of like little boxes of things. Like most of them are like wooden. They look like they're probably wooden. Maybe one of them looks like a material you're not quite familiar with, but it looks like kind of a way to protect items that are inside. Basically, they're not like super fancy or anything, but protective cases, if you will.
Okay, does it look like they open?
Yeah, for sure.
I will try to carefully open one to see what kind of contents are inside.
Okay, hang on one sec.
You hear Ulfgar say, curious.
You are opening that one. Okay. So the one you pick is kind of a longer, slender case. It's got two little brass hinges on the back and a little latch on the front. So you flip the latch and open, and there is a wand inside.
Oh, that's handy. I'll close it back up, and I'll say, I'll try identifying this in a bit. And he'll like put it in his pack and try opening the next one.
Okay. So the next one is there's a kind of a pouch, a fabric pouch inside, and the pouch is filled with jewelry.
Okay. Cool. This looks like we've got some more spending cash when we get back to town. Put that in my bag.
So there's like earrings, there's rings, there's bracelets. You don't see like any, you don't notice any necklaces right away, but they look like nothing super fancy. But yep, there's a bunch of jewelry in there.
Okay.
There's two more things.
Open the next one.
Okay. Another longer and slender box. Again, little brass hinges and a latch on the front, and you open it up, and there is another wand in there.
Okay.
I tell Ulfgar, I want to open this one.
Okay, here you are, lady.
I just laugh. I'll open the last one. My luck is to the back.
Okay.
A black ooze jumps out on your face. Blech.
This one's a bit bigger, actually. It's kind of more like a shoebox size. And when you open it, you see inside is, actually, let me get a description. There's a horn. It's actually it looks kind of like the one that Ulfgar usually. Not quite the same, but similar.
Say that again. Ulfgar would say, "Oh, that looks nice."
I'll just hold it up and look at it, and I'm like, I wonder what would happen if I use this.
Is it actually a musical horn or a drinking horn? Or just a horn?
No, it's a musical.
Ooh.
I look at you. Should I use it? Should I try it?
It's like, maybe wait till we get outside. I don't know if it'll have some kind of reverberating effect on these walls. They don't exactly look that sturdy.
Okay, no fun.
Hey, otherwise, if you want to summon forth the spider calamity, then go right ahead.
Alright, I'll just put it in my bag.
Right. I'll inspect the chest to make sure it doesn't have a false bottom or anything.
Okay.
Hey, you know, we're not being pursued by all sorts of bad guys and stuff. We've got the time to do it, so I'll do it.
Yeah. Make an investigation check.
Oh yeah, #1 skill right there.
I'm just gonna start heading back out as he's doing.
You find the bottom looks pretty solid.
Okay. Then I will close the chest. And actually, do I have? I do. I'll take a sheet of paper and quill, and I'll actually write in there, thanks, sorry, this place has already been looted, and I'll leave it in the chest.
Have a trombone. Wah, wah. Okay, so there you go. Note left. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I like to imagine, out of character, that the reason why we had no incidents in that room is because of the first time we came down here and I exploded the room. All the undead spiders just fell off the web on the other side.
Nice.
Right, the other room there.
Indeed. And Ulfgar will do this time. He'll walk up to the wall and try just putting his hand on it and see if it passes through like before.
Are you gonna? Is everybody happy for Ulfgar to go first again?
That's fine. But I was getting impatient in the other room and throwing rocks, so I kind of want to go this time.
That's fine.
And I'm starting to get whiny when you come out. Oh my god, you guys took forever. I want to open something.
Oh, I've got you some gifts. We'll inspect them once we get back to our camp.
Okay. At first I was going to go throw some of the bones, and then I kind of like started reaching for them, and I kind of looked at Aelia, and my hand just kind of pulls back slowly. And I walk over to the rocks, or throw them at the dead things in the pool.
Speaking of dead things in the pool, I think while this is going on, Aelia's gonna wander around the crypt, blessing it.
Okay, sounds good. So Ulfgar, yeah, you do the same thing. Reach your hand out and boom, disappears right through the wall.
And am I standing on
Take
crunch?
a step back. Can you
Sorry,
take a
sorry. Step back. I'm stepping back.
When you do this, you discover that the things that were crunchy on the other side are still crunchy on this side, but are also creepy and crawling on this side.
Oh.
Oh, I chose the wrong one.
So can I go through, or are they actually right there? Oh, they're actually
They are
right there.
kind of occupying that space. So it's like when you step through the wall, your face just kind of hits this like web, and yeah, they're gonna get an attack on you, and then we're gonna roll some initiative.
So I like put my hand through, and then I'm like, oh, what is that? That's squishy. It's pulsating. Ah! Something bit me. I never re-equip my shield, by the way, so I'm down to 18 for my AC.
Okay, well, so yeah, these spiders are kind of biting you, but your tough kind of dwarven skin is a little tougher than they imagine. So
Spiders! Ow! Something bit me, Valia!
I just laugh really loud. I'm like,
Oh, you know what? Hang on. The other
Your
one.
friends are here.
Your friends are, yeah. Yeah, both groups kind of, yeah.
And I told you there's going to be something in the other side.
You know what? You can occupy their space because they're a swarm. I forgot. Sorry. So if you want to have stepped forward, you certainly can.
That is what I was doing, but
Yeah.
obviously I would step to the side. I don't know. Should I be in the same space?
You can occupy the same space. Yeah.
All right. It's just gonna make it difficult for others to see that that's there, but.
I see your point, but
That was
I
right
think it's a realistic depiction of what's going on.
Sure thing.
I kind of shout, can't you use that press to something? Press to something.
That cleans things. These are... They may be filthy critters, but I don't think it'll have much effect.
Let's, oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was yelling at Aelia. Aelia, we have undead things. Can you come clean them?
They're
dirty.
They're spiders.
Aelia
They're
shouts
dirty.
from the other room, I'll be there in a jiffy.
Okay, well, in the meantime, they're gonna eat our dwarf.
You want to could everybody roll initiative? Sorry. Thank you.
Boop. Initiative rolled.
Thank you. Okay. So Ulfgar, I think, do you want to react to this?
Yeah,
How
I'll...
would you like to react to this? Make it better quick.
I will stop standing on a giant swarm of spiders. Do they look any different from a giant swarm of spiders? Like magic spiders, or they all have skulls for bodies or something crazy?
They do look a bit weird.
Okay.
I mean, some of them are missing some legs. I mean, I don't know how much you really stopped in your 6 seconds of...
Right, no, I just, like, initial impression. That's fine.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know how I would hurt these things. I guess I'll just start swiping at them with my sword as best I can. You know, just kind of whipping it around. I realize it's a stabby weapon, but that's all I got. And I'll pull out my dagger with my other hand and try swiping at stuff too. So.
Okay, go for it.
So no idea if it'll work, but I will do the normal attack. 15.
That does hit.
Okay, and let's do the damage. If that even applies, I don't even know how it works. That's some pretty good damage. Plus,
And are you attacking?
yeah, it's just the 9.
You're attacking this one?
Yes.
Got it.
And then for my second attack, if it seems that I'm actually making purchase in the spidery bunch, then I'll continue attacking.
So it's really difficult to like stab them with a rapier as you're kind of expecting, right? But you are able to kind of like squish some of them a little bit, like as you're swinging your rapier around.
Okay. Well, I will continue with that.
Okay.
And 16. And I'll do the damage for that. 10. And then I'll try like scraping some off of me and stabbing them with the dagger that I've got for my bonus action.
Okay.
Which one is this? Bonus attack. I don't think this one gets my dex bonus. It's just a regular thing. Ooh, that's a good hit.
So that's
22 to
still,
hit.
You still get +6 on
No.
that?
I just don't get the plus to damage because it's an offhand weapon and I don't have 2-weapon fighting.
Ah, okay. Got it.
So it's
okay.
4 points of possible piercing damage.
Okay.
That's pretty much all I got.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So you do seem to have squished a few of them, for sure.
Spiders! Bah! Oh, they're in my mouth!
Valia?
This is how people swallow 8 per year.
To take out a torch and light it, is that a full action?
I would say it's a bonus.
Okay, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take out a torch, light it, and I'm gonna walk in and just stick the torch into one set of this.
Okay. Let's see. Yeah, make a swing as if you were attacking like with your javelin. Okay, yep, you definitely hit him.
Is it unarmed damage? Or
Well, this is gonna be kind of like fire damage, actually. So I would say,
You froze up.
really?
Yep.
Ah. I would say, try, I would do like 1d6, but it's gonna be fire damage from the torch. Okay.
Your spinny wheel now.
I'm working on it.
Okay.
did I get both my attacks or just the one?
I'm just moving you temporarily so I can grab them.
Yeah.
A moment. Okay.
No, she
Yeah,
likes
you can
she
pause your
likes
attack.
standing on top of them. It's fine. She's a big fan of spider stepping. It's
That 11 hit.
her national pastime.
And we decided to switch to the laptop cam. Thanks, Discord.
Boo.
Yay, Discord's been wonky the last couple of
I'm just whining all the time, basically, about Discord. Alright, so 11 does not hit, unfortunately.
Okay, well, that's all I got.
Okay.
It's better than Skype.
That's true.
Sting.
So, Aelia.
Yeah, I worked this out earlier. I can move here, and that's my turn.
Okay. Alright, then spiders are gonna bite you guys. So this one, that you're standing kind of in the same space as Valia, is trying to bite you. With a 17 to hit.
I think so. Yes, yes.
They hurt more than you thought. They did 10 damage with their little bitey mouths.
10 spiders start climbing up your legs and biting you.
And then the same one is going to attack you, Ulfgar. And I think they hit.
Oof.
And they're also pretty bitey.
Ulfgar. Oh, that's a lot of damage. Okay.
That's a lot of damage.
13. Boom.
It's actually probably my laptop, not Discord at all. Okay. So that's their turn, though. Kellisto.
If I wanted to use poison and the range is 10 feet, would that hit Ulfgar? Or can I just direct it at the spiders?
If the range is 10 feet, that's just the distance. But
That's how far
Okay.
you- But like, what does it cover? An area or?
No, it just says extend your hand toward a creature you can see. So I guess that would.
Sure. You're gonna put your hand in the swarm.
Yeah, it's either that or use fire. I'll use fire. Fire's probably better. I take out my torch and try to like. Or actually, you know what? I'm gonna use my flame blade. Can I initiate it and then? The initiation is a bonus action.
Initiation is a bonus action. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
so
it's
you
kind of
initiate it and swing with it.
it's kind of weird to swing around at spiders with a blade, but at least it's fire.
It helps us to see them better. There's
Yeah,
now a
that's
light
true.
source in the room. Oh, there's 2 light
And-
sources in the room.
And I'm gonna kind of move through them a little bit to kind of get into.
Oh, it is fire damage. Okay. So this okay. So this one you look. It looks like you've mostly killed this one.
Oh, yay!
Their little bodies go, and their little legs curl up as you like burn them with your flamey sword.
Aw.
There's no awe. They're spiders. They must all die.
Excuse me.
Okay. Then Ulfgar, I think, is back up to you. There's like just a couple of them scurrying around in this area here. But you look at Valia, and she's fairly well covered. They're just like that scene from Chilling Adventures of Sabrina.
Lovely. So yeah. Ulfgar will try to finish the easy target in front of him, which is these ones that were mostly dispersed.
Okay.
First, before he tries attempting to scrape some of them off the back of Valia, like in Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Very carefully.
Indeed. So, rapier attack. Stabby, stabby on the spider.
That might just hit a little bit, you know. 25, you just hit them.
Well, they're small.
And that does, in fact, finish that particular swarm.
Okay. And then I will continue attacking and trying to miss Valia. I don't know what kind of negatives that might incur, but I do not want to hit her.
Okay. I'm going to give... Basically, if you're trying to avoid hitting Valia, I'm going to... Okay, never mind. You rolled in that 20.
What? What were you going to give me?
I was going to give them cover. You know, I'd give them, like, some cover, basically. Or the same kind of benefit as they would get from having cover. But you rolled in that 20. So go right ahead with your damage.
Okie dokie. So one of them starts climbing up her leg, and I, like, skewer the single spider with the tip of the rapier.
Okay.
I continue stabbing. Right. And then, of course, the dagger attack that I've got here. Because that's in my hand. Jeez. I am on spot on with being able to hit things today. Alright, so there you go. And a max damage dagger. Holy cow.
Okay. Alright. Fair enough. Then Valia. Ulfgar is swinging wildly around you with a rapier and a dagger.
A dwarven dervish.
I just like, stop it! If it's trying to swipe at these spiders to get them off, so I'm just gonna claw at them.
Hold still!
That hit.
Quit your squirming.
It's gonna be the same as my bite.
Okay. I'm just gonna temporarily move you up there.
Yeah,
Even though, okay, so that.
And they're still there?
They are still there.
Okay. That didn't work.
That
and
misses.
my last...
That hits? Okay.
Alright. I'm just like, Ulfgar, stop! You're poking me! Spiders on me! Just like, get off me!
Quit your squirming!
Oh, I take it. Did you want to move anywhere, or?
No. I'm just... Actually, I'll just step back where you have me and just, like,
just
freaking out.
Jumping up and down, stomping.
Yeah. Like, you can hear me fighting at them with my teeth, like a dog with flies or something. Other than that, I'm good.
Ooh, sky raisins.
These are ground raisins.
Mm.
Yeah.
Aelia.
Where's Flippy?
With practiced boredom, Aelia moves up to here and casts Destroy.
Okay. So they get, is it a con save?
Yeah, they get a con save, but if they fail this one, they just die immediately because they're
Yeah, that's
swarm of
Swarm of undead spiders. Oh.
Sorry, it's a wisdom save, but
Oh.
Oh, crap. Sorry.
we can. Do you want to?
That's even worse. Oh, except they rolled a nat.
Oh.
This crypt is the worst.
It's very resilient to your.
Maybe I should have taken this a little more seriously.
Practiced boredom. The expectation that this would not work. Obviously, they're not undead. That's what it is.
That's what it is here. Speaking of not undead, she's going to bonus action Sacred Flame around Valia.
Okay. Yeah, Valia has actually stepped back out of what's left of the swarm, so...
Oh, look, cover does not affect saving throw.
Let's see.
Thank you, Roll20.
Okay, so they make their dex save as well.
They do.
Do they get half damage for that? I forget.
No, because it's cantrip, I believe they just dodge it.
Roger that. Okay. Alright. Do you want to use any more movement? Or?
I do not.
Okey-doke. Then, Valia, the spiders think you're delicious, and they're going to step over here. Bite you some more. But they are not doing so good now. But that might hit.
Yeah, that hits.
And that's it for them.
What is it with you and your attraction to insectoids and arachnids?
Same move as last time.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
Flame blade.
So with the 24, you're able to kind of deftly, like... Actually, I think that's going to finish them. Because that's fire damage, isn't it? Let me check. Yeah, that finishes them. With the 24, you're able to kind of deftly swipe the rest of the spiders from Valia, and the flame of the sword just kind of instantly kills them. They're very susceptible to fiery things. So
I'm really
although
careful not to burn her.
I assume you're going to move up. Oh no, because it's flame blade. You don't. Wait, is it in your hand or?
Oh, it is, yeah. So I had to move.
Okay. I forget, but you can have. I mean, it's got a 60-foot range on it, so I assume you can.
Does it? Oh yeah, I guess it does. I don't have to move.
Okay. So.
It's a really long range for a blade.
That is weird.
So Valia, this kind of you've seen Kellisto's flame blade quite a bit, and it darts towards you and swipes at the remaining spiders on your body and sizzles them. There's this kind of sickening popping noise as they fall to the ground.
By the way, it's got a range of self.
So what's the 60 feet then?
An accident.
Oh, okay. Alright, well,
I will fix it. Then I
thank
did.
you.
She's just got long arms, you know.
I just like swipe at all the little dead crawly pieces on me. I'm like, I don't like spiders. I'm not one of those primitive lizards that eat these bugs. It's just like wiping them off me.
Ulfgar would say to Kellisto, "Keep your blade out. That might not be the last of them."
Okay.
Until Ulfgar, you two go ahead. I'm not. I'll wait here.
Let's look around the room. Do we see any more spiders or other nasty
I'll
ones?
make a perception check.
Uh-huh. Let's see. Perception. Perception. Roll. Whoosh. 10.
You do not see any more spiders.
Okay. Well, what do I see? What do we see, as there are a few of us in here?
shockingly, it looks pretty much the same as the other room.
Right. Well, somebody has an air for symmetrical or symmetry, so I will walk up to the chest and, as before, mage hand the chest just to see if it responds to the mage hand.
It does not.
Say, all right. He'll try opening it with the mage hand, see if it even moves.
Nope. It's
Okay.
not budging.
Can I try to break the lock with the flame sword? You know, like melt it.
Oh yeah. Chop it off.
Can I get that hot? Make a strength check
Really?
to try and break the lock with the sword.
Why am I not seeing strength?
I will give her inspiration on this.
Is it in the savings throw?
No, you just click on strength.
Are you going to use that horn that you found?
No, Valia's got that.
Oh wait, better than I thought.
So I gave you inspiration if you want to use it, though.
Okay. What is that, a 1?
1d8. A total of 20.
Not very good inspiration.
It pushes you up to 20. It was a last minute thing. You were like mid swing, and he's like, "Pop!" It was more jarring than helpful.
I just kind of look at you. Let's roll that.
So the metal becomes kind of like tarnished with the heat from the sword, and it does look like it's a little unaligned. Not like it melted, but just like with your strength and the flame from the sword. Well, the flame from the sword tarnished it, and your strength kind of dislodged it slightly.
Okay. I can try it again.
Mhm. That's a save. You want to just click strength.
Yeah. Yeah, that's better.
Alright. You're like, I think it's like that thing where you try to open the jar and you loosen the lid and then you hand it to somebody else and they just. It's like just like that, except your first swing like loosened it, dislodged it slightly, and then your second swing with it, the thing just buckles and kind of almost falls out front of the chest.
Awesome. Then I'm gonna kind of start to open it very, very slowly, just in case any spiders.
I really want it to be like, you know, that the spiders from Don't Starve, where they're like, that's what I really want it to be. No, inside you see 3 fabric, or actually kind of more like leather pouches. One particular bag that looks a little more fancy, and a wooden box, a smallish wooden box.
One of those pouches, we had something like that in the other one. It had a bunch of jewelry in it. Perhaps we've got more riches in here.
I'll grab the wooden box first.
Okay. So when you pick the wooden box up, you hear, or you feel as well, you can kind of tell, but you also hear and feel like there's liquid inside, and you hear as well a little clink of glass. Like, you know, when glasses kind of clink together. That's what
Yeah. I turn around and hand it to Ulfgar. I'm like, I'm tired of finding these mysterious liquids. This is all you. I want things.
This is in the box.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So,
He'll say, all right.
It's kind of like a larger shoebox.
Okay. We'll see if we can identify this as well. And he'll actually like take his pack off and try like mostly sticking it in there. It might stick out at the moment, but he'll try and do that just so we can transport it out of the...
Are you tipping it?
Trying not to if it's got liquid in it.
Okay.
I'm gonna go for the fancy pouch.
Okay. So you pick this bag up, and it's like a kind of a big flap, like a backpack flap lid that's all like nicely embroidered around the front of it, and it's got a buckle on the front that's got a leather strap, you know, that kind of buckles down through it. And it's got kind of a simple on the back of it, well, what you perceive to be the back is the buckle. If the buckle is the front, on the back of it, it's got two simple loops that look like they fit through your belt, or you know that your belt fits through them actually. And it's about the size. Well, it's kind of like a small backpack. You know, something that you. Oh, this might be a good analogy. Like a quiver. Like that kind of. Like if you had a quiver on your side, that kind of size.
So like a small mailbag type?
Yeah, like a smallish mailbag. Or...
I open it up and look and see if there's anything in it.
You open it up, and when you open, so you unbuckle it, lift the flap, pull open like there's a drawstring. You pull that bit open and look in, and it is pitch black. You cannot see anything in there. Like it's unnaturally black.
I kind of go, this is interesting.
Is that where the spiders came from?
Well, I think it might be magical, so I'm gonna kind of like put it off to the side for a second, and then go in. I want to see what the other pouches have, and then I'll invest.
Okay. So you pick the first one up, and there is a very familiar clink of what sounds like coins.
I shake it. I'm like, yeah, this is what I'm talking about.
You shake it, and it's definitely full of coins.
I'm like, woohoo!
Right.
And I count it. I want to count
it. So you open it up, shake it out onto the ground, and it's gold coin. And there are...
You're going to have to pick it apart from all the spider corpses now.
It's got legs mixed in there.
Well, there's a lid of the chest.
That's
so
true.
once it's open, I can put it in the lid of the chest.
There are 86 gold coins in there.
And then I open up the last one.
Oh, so there's two more leather pouches that are they look exactly the same as the one that you just opened.
I kind of shake them.
They sound like they are full of coin as well.
Okay, well, I won't bother counting them now. But I'm like, oh, look, 3 bags of gold. We're rich.
Excellent. Let's take this up to the top. I think we've found a nice surprise for once.
I grab all 4 pouches, and I'm like, "Hey, Ulfgar, this thing is kind of weird. You should look at it because it's magical and it's."
They'll say, "Right. Would you mind carrying that up? I'm going to be carrying this pack with the other things in it, and I don't want to drop any of it on the way out."
Okay. I grab everything. I have an idea what I want to do when we get back to the camp. Is what I tell him.
Right. Sounds good. Let's go tell Aelia, Valia, and head out.
Okay.
Right, we're off then.
Yep. So, we've got a whole bunch more goods from that chest in there. Perhaps they were donations or whatnot, but it didn't seem like there were any kind of, items left for those that might have been entombed here. In fact, I don't think we've found any that have been entombed that haven't been walking about. So let's go back and...
No, I don't think those are part of the ceremony.
Yeah. So let's head back to camp, regroup with Flippy and Vorn, as well as Tobias and Arokh, and let them know the items we found. See perhaps if we can identify some of these items and their usefulness. If at the very least the value of some of the the coin that we've got.
Okay. Sure. Oop. So yeah, you head back to the surface. And you find Flippy and Born just as you left them, picking up Tobias and Arokh along the way. Yeah, your camp is pretty much as you left it, inside this kind of tumble down hut, house, cottage kind of building. Sorry. Traffic. Somebody with a very noisy car drove by. Boom. 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 Boom.
All right. So here, let me grab the quest log again. Excuse me. So at best, I've got detect magic that I can use to identify things with, partially, as well as any previous knowledge or arcana knowledge, but I don't know if there are others in the group that might be able to work with that as well or have other abilities. So I guess basically Ulfgar is just kind of like putting it out there for the group. Anybody that might have knowledge or help on this stuff.
Nope, but I kind of like pull out the bag and I'm like, hey, can you guys see inside this? And I kind of hold it out to everyone to like look in.
Oh, look in it.
Yeah.
Beacon.
I've got dark vision. I can see in there, right?
Well, and I also pull a coin out of one of the bags and I kind of like drop it in. I want to see what happened.
Mm-hmm. So for those looking in the bag, it is pitch black. Your dark vision cannot penetrate this blackness, this blackiest of blacks. It's unnaturally black. And you watch as Kellisto drops a coin into it, and there's a little whoop noise, and the coin disappears.
I'd be careful of that. You stick your limb in there, you might not get it back out. My old Uncle Peter, he once had one of those bags, and he put his hand in. The thing ate him. I think we should turn it inside out.
I hand it to you. I'm like, yep, feel free. You just scared me to do anything with the bag.
He'll like gingerly like kind of start turning it inside out to see if it'll actually like do it.
Yeah, the bottom does not want to leave. Like you're trying to push the bottom through the opening, and it's not happening.
All right, then he'll just say, "All right, well, let's just get all the magical or the items that might potentially be magic. Valia, you want to bring that horn as well, and I'll try and detect what I can of these items, and then I'll ritual cast detect magic and try and get like the different types of magical effects that these may or may not have.
Oh boy, okay.
In the meantime, you want to count up all that gold?
Yes, I do. Minus one.
So there's 2 more bags of gold, which you count up. One of them has another 57 gold in there, and the other one has 135 gold in there.
And the first one was 89?
And the first
86.
one was 86. So 86, 57, 135.
Yep, I've got it on the quest log at the moment.
Okay.
Well, I give it to you for the group fund.
All right.
Okay, then we've got... So you get to know the school, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Is there anything else that that you would know about this?
It's all dependent on how you want to do it. Identifying magical items varies from campaign to campaign to DM to DM. So sometimes Arcana rolls can help, other times just a long time of study or whatnot, but I don't know. Other people will have to actually get it identified properly, or just use it and hope they figure it out.
Use one object, if the magic... Okay. You learn its properties. So wait, you're using identify?
No. Detect magic.
Magic. Okay. I was like, well, identify gives you everything.
Exactly.
Detect magic. Okay. Then it's School of Magic, if any. Okay. So, I'm trying to find where I can find the School of Magic that most of these things would have. Oh, I have an idea for one. Oh, are you muted? I can't hear you.
There we go. I said there's also a box of liquid that we haven't actually opened yet, so...
Okay. So you open that, and it is... Are you going to open it?
Yeah.
I guess?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's, there's 8 little bottles in there of a cherry red liquid. Like, it just looks happy. Okay, so the wand, is a conjuration school. Let me look at the other one.
Which one was conjuration?
So you've got 2 wands.
Oh, one of the wands. Okay.
One of the wands.
Okay.
How do I? I don't know how to find this. Sorry.
You could just say that we figured it out. Then I could tell you afterwards.
Let me look at the rest of your loot. So how you okay, wait, hang on. The horn. Hang on, I have an idea for that one. What are you doing with the so you've got the 2 wands, the horn, and the bag of jewelry.
And the pouch.
Oh, the pouch that Kellisto has, you mean?
Yeah, the bag of darkness.
Bag of dark. Yep, okay. So,
And yeah, the 8 liquid bottles of cheery red liquid.
cheery is happy. The horn is of evocation school.
Oh.
The liquid, you I think you've seen this before.
The cheery red liquid?
Yeah, the little bottles, the little you think you saw this when you were shopping way back when with what's his name?
Wakanga?
Wakanga, yep, thank you. And you think this is the same liquid that was being marketed as a healing potion.
Okay. Good to know.
So none of the jewelry pink?
Right, and the pouch of the jewelry as well, I guess. I mean, we're pretty much just detect magicking everything that we had. We're just laying it all out.
Okay. Alright. Yeah. So in the pouch of jewelry, 2 things glow as being magical.
Dang, okay.
One of them is a ring,
Okay.
and the other one is a little amulet.
And the schools of those ones?
Yeah, I'll let you know the schools later.
Okay. Alright. And then, so we still need to find out the schools of those and the schools of the wand.
Yeah, one of the ones has, appropriately, thematically, has a little spider on the end.
Is that the conjuration one or the other one?
It's the conjuration one. I think I'm getting some help here. Oh, thank you very much.
Alright.
I just figure if you think it falls under one of those in a
Yeah,
glance.
that's very helpful. The ring is abjuration.
Okay.
The other wand. Wait, hang on. Let's see. Which ones are you missing now?
The Bag of Darkness, the Amulet, the Wand that is not spider-styled conjuration.
Okay. So the Bag of Darkness. Transmutation. I
Okay.
think probably be a good one.
You're like, that sounds about right. There you go. Transmutation.
I'm just rolling a d8. And then the wand with the spider is the one that's missing, right? That's
No, the non-spidery wand.
Oh, the non.
You said
okay.
the spidery wand is conjuration. And then the amulet in the jewelry.
I think the other wand would be transmutation as well.
You said the first one was conjuration for the...
Yep, the little spidery
The second
one.
one is transmutation.
Okay.
The second one is transmutation.
Transmutation.
Does that have any helpful little icons or anything?
It has like a pattern of like it's like a rope kind of, and it's twisted. It's as if this tiny rope is twisted around the end, and it's carved into the wood of the wand.
All right, so then that just leaves the amulet.
I have to remember what the amulet does. Oh, I think the amulet would be. Oh wait, hang on. Divination. No, not divination. Sorry, I'm such a noob at this stuff.
No, that's fine. What I should have done is, instead of chosen heat metal, I should have taken identify. That's what I should have done.
I think it's going to be abjuration as well.
All right.
What was the horn?
The horn was evocation.
That amulet. Hang on, let me look one more. Maybe not. Oh, that's tricky. It's kind of a divine spell. But it's not divination, obviously.
It's of divine magic.
Right.
Right, divine magic does not come under the wizard schools, but there's two, right? Necrotic and the opposite of necrotic.
It's the opposite of necrotic. It's unnecrotic.
Okay. Were there any specific descriptions of any of these items besides the two wands, or just, nothing that stood out?
The ring has a little shield on it.
Okay.
The amulet is heart-shaped. We already talked about the wands. And the horn
Excuse me.
has like a swirling pattern towards the bell end of it.
Okay.
There you go.
All right. Wow. That's a lot of info.
This might be helpful. Any cleric spells which buff a player come under conjuration. That is not made very clear in that info.
Then the amulet is conjuration.
Okay.
Loot.
Amulet, where'd it go?
Aelia's going to dig through the jewelry bag for the non-magical bracelets that were in there and start adding them to her bracelet hoard on either.
Very good, yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, if people want to take a little bit of this stuff for themselves right now, that's fine. Ulfgar is trying to find out if the horn is going to be safe to use at the moment, because he knows that Valia is itching to give that thing a toot. Dooting horn. Let's see here.
Toot-toot-toot.
Yeah, it's in my pouch now.
Evocation. That's not helping. Yeah, I can't sort by type of magic on this list. That's sad. I guess I could just do all levels. Oh man, that could be so much stuff. Alright, so schools, there we go. Evocation. I can just undo everything but that one, and then I can see all of it. Apply. Oh, okay. There's a lot of interesting evocation. Mostly does a bunch of damage. Some of it does healing. Right. So Ulfgar would say it's possible that the this horn here most likely either does damage, light, or healing. Would be my guess.
Well, Valia's got the horn in her bag, so.
Right, but I would have had to have detect magic it to concentrate to identify if it was evocation to begin with. How's this? Valia, would you have put the horn down so he could detect what school of magic it was?
Yeah, I was holding it out there with everything else. And then after it was done, I put it in my bag.
Okay. And he'd say it's most likely either damage, healing, or light. So if you use it, best not to point it at one of us to start with until we can figure out which one. And that's just a guess, though.
I couldn't hurt that bad.
Stand still, Ulfgar.
And that's just a guess that it has a secondary effect. It could just be something that enhances the sound it does as well. It's of fine make, nonetheless, and having another musician in the group will be welcome.
And that ring, Ulfgar?
Oh, right. The ring. The shield ring of abjuration. Let's do school. Abjuration. It is most likely that of do I get a really strong effect off the ring, or is it relatively just average?
I can't tell you that really without
sorry, I didn't know.
Understanding what you
I'm basically I would assume that the stronger magical presence on it, the higher the level spell it might be. Yeah,
fair enough. It's you feel like it's pretty decent. It's no cantrip, that's for sure.
Is it fairly
so it is like it is made out of horn. And the only kind of things on it are there's a little kind of polished metal band around the bell end of it. There's a metal end to the mouthpiece as well, and then towards the bell end as well there's a swirling pattern carved into the bone.
We were talking about the ring. I'm sorry.
Really?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm like waffling on. So the ring is like kind of a silvery or iron looking metal. Not quite sure which, or it could be something else, but it's of that kind of coloration, and it's quite thick, like beefy looking ring, and it's just got and the face of it is flat, and it just has this kind of shield shape, you know, a shield image carved into the metal of the ring. So it's just one.
Can I do a history roll on it to see kind of like which maybe race?
Yeah, sure.
Which just in general, he'd suggest that it most likely has a protective nature to it. It's possible it could be more protective than just like deflection or something of that nature, but that's about as best as he'd be able to figure out.
So it looks like it was worn last by a medium kind of humanoid. Maybe somebody who has like stouter fingers, but certainly not like a giant or ogre or, you know, anything large like that.
So it certainly fit a 6'6".
Mm-hmm.
Do magical items resize?
I would say yes, they do. So
Okay.
this is kind of the size from the last person who wore it.
I'm gonna ask Ulfgar. Oh, Ulfgar, do you mind if I'm rather fond of jewelry. Do you mind if I...
Ulfgar say, I don't mind. Do the rest of you mind? Just be careful with it. It's still unknown magics. And my detections are apprentice level at best. You never know when these things could be cursed. But otherwise, enjoy the shiny.
So the other two don't pipe up?
I don't think.
It's all yours.
Alright, I will take the shiny and I'll put the shiny immediately on, because something you're going to learn is that Aelia really likes shiny jewelry.
Alright. Ulfgar'd say he'd grab the little bottles of what he suspects to be bottles of healing and say, so this isn't 100%. Oh, sorry. Got a pug interruption. This isn't 100% sure, but these are most likely to be healing potions. So I think it's best if each of us has a couple. And he passes them out, 2 to each person, including 2 to Tobias. I think 2, 4, 6, 8. Okay, maybe not. So Tobias doesn't have any at the moment.
Ouch.
He can get goodies when he comes back. In fact, Ulfgar would probably split his or something with him.
And Tobias is likely to be the one using the wand.
Quite possibly. We've got a couple of these ones. He didn't seem too fond of the wands last time, but we'll see.
The ring didn't stranglehold my finger or anything.
Perhaps.
No, so you put the ring on and it does kind of start to... Well, it seems like it's slowly resizing itself to you and might take the course of the regular attunement time to get settled in on your finger. It's a little loose to begin with, so you it's kind of rattling around on your finger a little bit, but
no immediate grasping.
Right, nothing
Right.
horrible.
Alright, so the ring went to Aelia.
Mm-hmm.
We each got potions.
Mm-hmm.
And then, who has the horn?
Currently, Valia has it in her back.
Okay. And who has the bag of darkness?
Nobody. It's sitting there at the moment.
No
I'll
one
take
has
the
amulets.
darkness.
Yeah, I'll take it just in case. And
Take what?
I wanted to have fun with it. I could drop things in there and see what happens.
that's what I
Or
was
make
gonna
things
do.
go away.
Start dropping random crap.
We can do it together then.
Yeah, I'll just say here. I'll hold it when while we're on our way back to Kir Sabal. We'll just randomly throw stuff.
You know, it's possible
Cool.
that when we get these things back to Kir Sabal, that they'll be able to identify these items for sure.
Well, then we'll have
We
a bag
can
full of junk.
experiment on.
Okay. Well, Ulfgar will hold on to the heart amulet. Let's see. The rest of the coins and jewelry are just kind of like put in with the group stuff. Come on, can I do that? There we go. So let's see. Oh, and I guess he'll have Tobias hold on to both of the wands for now.
Okay.
He's the most arcane inclined, even though they might not be arcane. Excuse me. So, and I think that's pretty much it at this point. We'll just kind of hang on to the stuff, and who knows, maybe we'll try using it. Maybe we'll find out more about it when we get to Kir Sabal.
Maybe.
Maybe. And that's about it. That was a really good haul, folks. That's it. So shall we be on our way then to Kir Sabal? Now that we've got our orchid.
Yes, I think so.
I feel like it's always worrying when a game gives you all this loot, right? You know, you get all this loot and like healing, and you're like, what's about to happen to me?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Actually, if you don't mind, I'd like to seal this place up.
Be my guest.
So, if there's some way we can perhaps collapse the stairway or board it over.
Yeah, you think you take a few moments to kind of look around, take some time to examine the interior of the stairway down, and you feel like you identify a couple of key points where some strength or kind of blast energy of some kind is applied, that it will collapse the ceiling of the stairs. So I don't know. How would you guys like to do that? Is it going to be brute force, or do you have something else you can do?
Ulfgar, there's that thing you do that you shout. Could you?
He raises an eyebrow. He's like, I may be loud sometimes, but there's no need to be offensive.
No. I mean, if you send things flying, I'm not talking about your usual.
He raises the other eyebrow and says, I was just joking. I know what you meant. And he walks up to it and says, all right. And he'll do a thunder wave at it. A level 3 thunder wave.
Okay.
Fus Rhoda.
So yeah, you take your time, position yourself in the right spot, pick out the kind of block that you're gonna smack with all this energy, and yell at it, and sure enough, the sides kind of push out enough. The stone sides push out enough from the force of your spell that the ceiling, the stone that was across the ceiling, dislodges, and first it just kind of drops a little bit, but then it's like the first domino that's pushed, and then suddenly all the dirt is spilling out from behind it, and rocks are spilling out, and it's just a kind of domino effect, and the whole ceiling ends up kind of tumbling in on the stairway down.
Out the way! As he's like running back the other direction.
And this massive like billow of you've got Ulfgar running up the stairs, followed by this massive billow of dusty, dirty air, kind of. Like he's bringing this cloud of detritus with him.
So in the time that we pretty much sat down and just chilled and stuff like that, would we have obtained a short rest, perhaps?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Then I would like to use some of my hit dice to regain. So let's see. roll 1d8 plus, what is my con? 3. And I'm going to do the same again, because that's not enough. Jeez.
Okay. I guess I'll run away from this, whatever that is behind.
Alright, I used up half my hit dice in short rest heals. Okay, there we go. Okay.
Okay, I'm going to move you back to the map now because we are done with this particular dungeoniness.
If anyone needs additional healing, I can...
I'm alright now, but thank you. Let's clear that away. Wow, this map is really small when you zoom all the way out. Ah, Nangalore. I ain't going back there no more.
I'm going to get rid of the big black orchid.
That?
No, thank you.
Yeah, sorry, I was about to say the same thing.
Cluttering up the map. Okay, so you're heading back out on the road. Everybody ready?
On the road again?
Okay. So by the time you're done with like your collapsing of the entrance and counting all your gold and rifling through all the loot you've got, it is kind of actually like lunchtime. Spend most of the day, or most of the morning doing that. So I set out kind of very early afternoon, just after lunch. And do make some good progress throughout the day. You don't have any further encounters that day, but you can see up ahead of you, keep getting glimpses through the trees and through the canopy of the cliff face of Kir Sabal rising in front of you. So you have a pretty clear direction of which way you're going. Unfortunately, you don't think you're going to make it there before darkness falls. So do you want to push forward, or do you want to make camp and finish the journey in the morning?
Ulfgar would be more about taking a rest again.
Aelia would suggest the same.
Any objections?
No.
All right, then start doing the fancy magic stuff. Perhaps you can find some food for us.
I can try that.
So the animals have come back, yeah?
Yep.
Yay.
The jungle seems like it's back to its normal kind of self again.
Nice.
Yeah. Crescendo of noise as the sun goes down.
And Aelia and I...
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, and Aelia and I just try to like eliminate all the wildlife.
Look, there's wildlife
Totally
returning
wipe
to
it
the
out.
forest. It's so beautiful.
Stab.
Yep, you were able to bring back quite the feast, actually. So you got a little campfire going and got some iguanas on spits and lots of food for everyone. So Ulfgar, are you setting up your usual?
Yeah.
Okay.
Magical hut.
Magical hut. So is there anything anybody wants to do this evening? Or is it kind of straight to sleep?
Pretty much just, ready for a good night's sleep, actually. The last night, while the adventure was welcome, was spooky as all get out and a bit unnerving.
Okay. Then in that case, if you're all get a good night's rest within the hut. You're not disturbed at all. Seems like anything was out there, it's successfully your hut has successfully fooled it, and they were not aware of your presence. So
Camo out.
And then the following morning, you're, unless anybody's going to do anything, basically, I'm going to kind of assume you're back on the path again, hitting the road.
On the path again.
Mm-hmm. And you take
Country road.
me home to Kir Sabal. You travel for a few hours, and eventually you reach the base of the cliff face of Kir Sabal. And you see, as you've come to be familiar with the Arokh, flying high up above you, and see them coming and going from their kind of monastery perch. And it doesn't take long before one of them glides down and seemingly recognizes the party and lands close to you, and does a kind of a little bow to you, to the group, and says, "Welcome back."
Hello.
Aelia horse curtsies back.
We're not dead. We made it, and we got what we were what we went for.
He says, "Go up."
Please.
Okay. He says, "Wait," and off he flaps.
I forgot they don't speak the same language.
Flaps up to the monastery, flap, 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 flap. And comes back with a group of his friends, and the harness that they had quickly assembled for Aelia.
While we're waiting for all that, he ritual cast comprehend languages just to be sure.
Okay, yep. When they come back down, you can hear them saying, he's the one guy who kind of came down to meet you is giving the others directions, saying, you two take the harness over to the Centaur and help them. And then looks at kind of Valia and says, "Be nice to that one," and he's like in all directions. So if everybody's willing, and Tobias just kind of jumps on Arokh's back and kind of waits for you all to take off, and then it's going to fly up there on Arokh as you go up as well. So Vorn is obviously going to have to stay feet on the ground. And Flippy can get a ride as well if you want to bring Flippy, Valia.
Yes.
Okay.
So if Flippy starts falling and he flaps, does he get like a feather fall effect or something?
It's just like the chickens in like Legend of Zelda, where they couldn't actually fly anywhere, but they could like flap to the ground. You're all given kind of a lift up to the top. Actually, maybe we should go back to the Kir Sabal map.
Ooh.
Let me get that for you. They're given a lift up to the top. Scoot over there. Whoop. Oh, I'm zoomed way in. Okay.
Yeah, me too.
So you're given a lift up to the kind of main monastery area, dropped off on kind of the balcony, overlooking the jungle. So you're right around here.
I didn't. Oh, there it is. Okay, I was like, I didn't see a pin.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Okay. So you're kind of waiting. There's Arokh kind of coming and going.
Mm-hmm.
With their daily business.
More or less looking to speak with Ashara and or Princess Moaxanaway.
Moaxanare.
Moaxanare.
And you wait there for
Walks an hour.
a brief time, and
So we're in the lobby area?
you are kind of in the lobby, yep.
Right there.
And let's see. So are you just kind of gonna wait, or is there anything?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure. Hi,
All right.
Srira. Hi, Keek. Hello, Nefrir. If I see them.
Oh, did that not wanna? Sorry, I'm just bringing on tokens.
Yeah, Aelia's gonna do what she thinks is the most responsible thing. And just wait in the lobby until someone important comes by.
Mm-hmm. I'm just trying to find a particular token, and I'm having trouble finding it. What the heck?
No sign of a Stegosaurus on the way back either. Sad days.
No Stegosaurus. Sorry.
Trying to find bigger and bigger things for them to try and, like, harness up to the lobby area.
Until we reach the Vaughn limit.
Yeah.
That was the idea, is that we were trying to find a mount for Vorn.
Lordy, that might be a bit of a challenge.
Just get a trike. We'll be good.
We need a golem for the golem to...
Finally, I find them. Okay, copy.
A golem tar.
I'm just telling you I'm doing this because I can just describe it. Put them there just in case. So you're standing there for probably a good like 15-20 minutes, just kind of twiddling your thumbs. And you hear voices from up above, and one of them sounds very familiar, and the other one sounds like a Shara. And coming down the stairs with the Shara, you see your good friends, your good old friends and long absent friends, Artis and Dragonbait.
Oh boy. So Ulfgar would like hop to his feet, because he'd probably be just sitting like flat on the ground or on a chair or something like that, but he'd hop to his feet immediately and say, Artis, Dragonbait, it's so good to see you both. And he'd like kind of like advance upon them to give probably Artis a big hug. Even if he like extends a hand or something like that, he'd probably just like go in for the hug anyway.
Too bad. Yeah. So you. Yep. So Artis, first kind of reaches out like he's gonna shake your hand, and then when he sees you going for the hug, he just like goes with it and just hugs you back. And he says, "Oh, it's good to see you too, Ulfgar. I've missed you very much. Missed your friendship and then you're hit by this wall of lemon scent coming from Dragonbait.
Yay.
So it's just like poof,
Yay.
lemon. And Artis kind of breaks from hugging you, Ulfgar, and goes over to kind of Valia and Kellisto and Tobias and says, to the rest of you, I hope you can forgive my tardy arrival.
Well, we were heavily concerned, especially Valia here, that you all had fallen in the jungle at some point. She has been missing you so terribly.
I just like glance at him out of the corner of my eye. I'm like, yeah, terribly.
He says, I can tell. Mm-hmm.
I don't believe that you've met our newest member for, if at all, if not
briefly.
very briefly, but
He's a horse that likes to play with the dead. I just like blurt out and kind of like wink. I wink at Aelia.
You remember Aelia, yes.
Alright, eyes just half closed.
He says, Artis says, I had, looking at you, Aelia, he says, I had a feeling you had hidden talents.
She shrugs.
She's been
not so hidden where I'm from.
She's been very helpful. And has everyone else here. So I'm glad that you two are well. Tell me, what delayed you?
He says, the jungle.
He just kind of like
delayed me.
motions for him to come to the table and have a seat or whatever. I'm assuming that there's a table in this room.
Yeah,
I'm like, hey, did you happen to see some big giants as you were when you were in the jungle?
Or a large stone golem wandering around with a wall.
Or a T-Rex that's loose.
He says,
The
well,
Gasaurus?
it's funny you should mention the giants. He says, the giants are what delayed me. He says, they have a keen interest in my location. He says, so it took me much longer to reach Mesro than I expected.
The frost giants that we saw off the shore?
He says, the very same.
See, you should have taken the ship with us.
He
Yeah,
says,
we just sailed around them. We didn't want to play with them.
He says, that's a wise choice, because
Excuse me.
they are very playful.
Well, nonetheless.
Well, it's been boring with our party. We haven't really done much. Just, played with a Stegosaurus.
Ulfgar instantly
I whispered, the snake lady, but she got brought back.
he like gets this look on his face like, what do you mean we haven't done much? And then he's like, I have so many stories to tell you, my friends.
I just look at artists and see things have not changed. Actually, he's gotten worse, by the way.
He says, I wouldn't have it any other way.
He says, Ashara, thank you again for receiving us. I'd be realizing at this point that he's totally overlooked the ruler of the people that are being so nice to them.
Ashara is just kind of standing a couple of steps up from the group, just kind of observing, in a friendly manner. She's just kind of, she seems pleased that you've all been reunited.
I do ask her, I'm like, did you know the place we just went to was, had a particular person bound to it? Or, cursed to stay there?
She means the previous ruler of the land.
She says, Zalcore?
Aye, one and the same.
Yes.
She says, and she seems quite, she wants to, very urgent about this. Her demeanor changes of one of, casual, oh, everybody's happy, this is great, to one of kind of urgent, anxiety. And she says, she beckons you to come into, that dining area and closes the door behind you. And she says,
Who? Just me or all of us? Or
all of you. Yeah.
Okay.
An artist and Dragonbait come in as well. She says, I have a significant favor to ask of you. She says, please do not tell Princess Moaxanari that you encountered Zalcore. She says, as her guardian, I will choose the right moment to share this information. And she looks at Tobias and says, as you've experienced, she is quite a headstrong young girl. She says, if she knows Zalcore is there, she says it's very unlikely that I'll be able to stop her from marching through the jungle to to meet with her.
Well, Zelkore now waits for her children.
I'll respect your wishes, but I am
I
curious.
just kind of let out a huff when you. I'm like,
Why? Why would you want to stop them from reuniting?
She says, I don't think Mark Zanare is familiar with Zalkore's condition.
No.
Says, and I need to talk with her about this before she makes that journey.
I see.
When I had the chance to speak with Zelkore, I did tell her it may be some time before she sees her children, but so you have the time that you need.
She says, I want them to be reunited. She says, but just carefully, and not as a knee-jerk reaction from a teenage girl.
Right. Well, she seems to have nothing but time. So, and she doesn't seem to have any ill will towards the child. So, excuse me, Her Majesty. I was more referring to the terms that she was using.
So I appreciate this very much. She said, we will take care of this.
Very well. I was wondering if we could but ask your assistance on another matter.
She says, well, I'm now in your debt, so what can I help you with?
We came across several items of a magical nature. We have a limited way of being able to identify such trinkets and treasures. We're wondering if you had someone amongst your people that might best be able to let us know what the properties might be of these objects.
She says, I myself might be able to help you with this. She says, I can take a look at them in the morning. She says, I'll need to study the texts to be able to assist.
Very well. Would you like to have the items now so that you could look them over in time?
She says, no need. I just need to study the texts and then I can cast on them to tell you what their properties are.
I see. Very well then. It's good to see you again.
She says, and you too. I am happy that you made your way back safely. And I take it the trip was a success? She kind of looks. She's looking around for a flower.
Ulfgar kind of says, Kellisto, do you have the orchid?
Oh, yeah.
Do you still have the orchid?
I do still have it, and I pull it
you
out.
think if we put it in that bag, it'll give you another one?
Put you in
well,
that
that one
bag.
was kind of hard to get, so let's pull a pedal.
So far, it hasn't produced any gold coins that have been dropped into it, so I doubt it.
I hand the orchid to the lady.
She takes it and says, it has been many moons since I saw a specimen like this. And she's kind of turning it and looking at it and examining it. She says, yes, this will do nicely. She says, I know we have the matter regarding your items, but when would you like to use the ritual?
I figure we aren't in too great a hurry at the moment. Perhaps instead of tomorrow, the day after, so that it would give us another good day's rest and recovery, that we might still speak with people and catch up with everything going on and ensure that we are ready for the journey, and should something else come up before then.
Tobias pipes up, actually, and says, he says to Ashara, he says, I mean no offense by this. And then he looks at you, Ulfgar, and says, I have no desire to stay here longer than we need to.
I understand.
He says it's a little uncomfortable.
All right, then.
I mean...
Basically, to metagame it, I'm just going to say that if she's able to identify all the items for us, I wanted us to have enough time to be able to assign them to each other, attune to them, and then we could leave first, like, do the ritual first thing the next morning or something, so we'd have the whole day.
Oh, I see. Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay.
And more or less, he'd kind of communicate that that was the idea he was going for with the timeline.
Sure. Okay. So, Ashara says, she says, this evening, because, yeah, you see that after your travel, kind of that afternoon, and, oh, sorry, the morning, you traveled through the morning, so she says, take the afternoon. She says, eat, rest. So I'm sure you need it after that experience.
Thank you.
And then she says, I'll leave you to catch up. She says, I need to go and review the texts. So she leaves you and leaves the door open behind her. But yeah, she heads out.
Okay. So more or less just chit chat with Dragonbait and Artis and try and catch up with them and what they've been up to. Any new information they've learned or things that they may have obtained that would help us ensure that they have all their limbs and everything.
Sure. So yeah, Artis shows that he's now fairly certain that the frost giants are after him. You know. So he's wanted by another group that is making life quite difficult for him. As far as like civilized areas.
Yeah, I'll ask him. How long ago did you see the frost giants last, or when did you see them last session?
He says, oh, the days are a blur in this jungle, he says, but I think it was about a week ago.
Is that about when we saw them in the water?
It does match up with probably, yeah, during your sailing, or maybe just at the end, just like after you'd landed.
I'll tell him that's when we saw them near a ship in the water, and they passed. We think they passed us while we were camping. Was he with us whenever they passed us or whatever?
No.
Yeah.
No, they...
Go on.
I thought they split up at the harbour, and we took the boat, and they went...
No, I mean when we were camping, it was before we got you. So yeah, they were still with us.
Okay.
It was when we were on our way back to... Okay, yeah, they were there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when during that storm, that like tropical storm where you guys were huddled and
Right.
the giants were still trying to bust their way through the jungle.
Yeah. So...
Well, with any luck, you've lost them if it's been that long ago since you saw them. But we did come across, right before we came here, a place that looked like it was an abandoned home. And we had a door. We went down to, be nosy, see if there's treasure to be had. And there was a room with a giant chest. It looked like it had been smashed in. Something really big smashed it in. So I wonder if whatever was in that chest is why they're here, because they're pretty far away from where they should be.
What leads you to believe that they're here specifically for you, Artis?
Yeah. He says, well, everybody loves me. I mean, yeah. Says, why wouldn't? Who else would you be here for?
Well, we're here to.
You're not serious,
Why?
are you? Aelia says.
Okay, Alia's like, yes, he's very.
Ulfgar like snorts and spits his drink a little bit upon him saying, you know, that, and he's like, oh, right, of course.
He flashes, Aelia, he flashes you this smile that is like the cheesiest grin. That if there was a little like ting off his teeth, then it would totally happen, you know. So he's like just laying on the charisma as heavy as he can.
Aelia melts.
I was like, oh god, don't buy into it. I was like, he does this, he tries to do this with everything. You don't buy into it.
I don't have a very high charisma score, you see, Valia. So,
So really, besides being a tasty morsel for that of a what kind of giants are the frost giants? I think they were. What makes you think that they're after you, like as the Zentarum are?
He says for the same exact reason as the Centaur.
Ulfgar looks at Dragonbait and says, I've told you need to stay out of trouble. Alright. They're after your ring again.
Stay out of trouble like we have.
He says really quietly, he says, they're after your ring then.
He gives you this, like, just the smallest of nods.
Mm-hmm.
speaking of jewelry, perhaps you should take your amulet back?
Who are you talking to?
Artist.
He says,
Me,
like,
aka Valia, is under the impression that Vaughn's amulet is his.
ah, okay.
Ah.
And he seems confused. He's like, oh, he says, I don't think I have an amulet.
The golem?
He has a hand though. He has a this weird hand. Do you want to see it?
Aelia says the golem. Vaughn?
He says the owner of that golem is long since dead. Says we just looted it from the jungle. And that sounds very much like what happened to the crypt that you uncovered. Says sometimes amateur grave robbers get lucky in the jungle. And other times they end up like that poor fellow who we found who was missing his upper torso. So
Did you miss
he's
the
like,
part
he
about...
elbows Ulfgar and says, "Remember that? Eh? Eh?"
I just laugh. I'm like, yeah, I remember that.
Ulfgar says, yes, actually, we did come across another party that had been attacked by a T-Rex. There was a survivor, and sadly...
Was survivor what?
We saved him. But he was too horribly mentally scarred during the night, ended up throwing himself from a cliff into a pool of water.
It's a big pit. I have a question. Do you know? And I get the map and I show him where the big no mark is, the big dragon. You know what this is?
On this map, no. He says, I've heard rumors that this is the bones of a dragon that goes by the nickname of Needle. He says, this might be what you've uncovered. He says, I've never come across it myself, but this sounds like what you're talking about.
I mean, we could take you there. It's not too far from here, but I'm not going to jump. You're more than welcome. If you want to go for a swim, I won't stop you one bit. I just kind of elbow him. Yeah.
Wait, you said a dragon that is called Needle. We saw the remains of what looked like a dragon.
Oh, he says, perhaps I misspoke. He says, was called Needle.
Right, okay. Tyrannosaurs are enough as it is without having to deal with a dragon. let alone frost giants. So I don't suppose you got an accurate count of how many frost giants there were. I mean, we saw their boat, and we saw that there were potentially more
3.
than 2, but...
And we saw 3 in the water.
Oh, you're testing me. He says, well, hang on a sec. He says, we're talking about Needle's bones here, which is very interesting. He says, this might be worth looking into, if you know what I mean. And he's kind of doing the money, like... the universal
Say, I have a
money
bag
gesture.
here. I was like, do you want to look in? You want to put your arm in and see what?
Kellisto just bursts out laughing.
Are we in like a dining hall or anything like where there's food?
Yeah. You're in like that dining hall that's off
I
the-
sit next to Kellisto and I'm like, I put the bag between us and open it, and I just start grabbing random food off the table. I'm like, watch this, and I drop it. We're just gonna sit over here and like giggle, and I hand Flippy a piece, and I'm like, put it in the bag.
Aelia turns back to the pair and says, "What happens if you turn it upside down?"
Oh, I kind of like get wide-eyed, and I'm just like, oh, let's do it.
Okay, I'll turn it upside down. Like, just start shaking it.
Yep, nothing happens.
I just like
Oh,
run
no.
my clawed hand underneath it, like just shrug my shoulders and just start putting more stuff. Turn it back over and we start putting more stuff in it.
I think that might be one of the arm takers you were talking about. Oh,
I said,
Or
"Ooh,
Uncle
hand me
Pete.
that long piece of like bread over there." Like, you know, I point out a big long piece of bread, and I slowly start putting it in there, and then I pull it back out. See if any of it's missing.
None of it is missing.
It doesn't eat bread, so Ulfgar, let me see your arm.
he just kind of like holds his arm up and then puts it back down again and says, and that's all you'll see of it too. Get away
Oh,
from
just
me.
I've seen one of these before.
Have you? What does it do?
I was telling her about it. One of those actually took my Uncle Pete's arm right off.
Well, you know, everything wants to eat a dwarf. Come on. You can't fault the bag for that.
It did look a bit like your kind at the time.
Well, I mean, you guys talk a lot.
That's not just a dwarven thing, that's me, you daft.
I just look at artists and raise my, non-existent eyebrow. My ridge, I'm just like, okay. But anyway, what does this bag do?
So he takes like an apple off the fruit basket and tosses it in the bag. And then he puts his hand just lightly kind of in the top of the bag. You see him, like his eyes go off to the side for a sec, like he's thinking. And apple comes back out in his hand.
I just immediately reach my hand in and I'm like rummaging around. I'm like, where's that fruit we put in here? Like some grapes or something. I'm pull them out. Let's see if I can pull it out.
Yep. As soon as you say where are those grapes, like you can feel the grapes in your hand.
I show Kellisto. I'm like, look, I still have my arm. And look, food. I sit there. I'm like, I think of. I was like, Kellisto, give me something. What do you want to see? What do you think this bag can hold? Tell me something that you want me to pull out of that?
I look around the room. Is there any kind of like something like really long, like a coat rack or a big giant sword?
So, and on the wall, there's kind of a decorative display of like bokens, monk's staffs, that are quite long.
I kind of look at her and look over at the wall. I'm like, hey, do you think we could get one of those in there?
Aelia
I hold the
interrupts.
bag up.
No, do not start putting the bird people's stuff in your bag.
Ulfgar says
What are you
that.
gonna put it in the bag?
Ulfgar says
Aelia
What are you gonna
that's
put it in the bag?
that's it.
Aelia takes the
Let me see the bag, and he comes over
No.
and he kind of like
I have
tries.
hold of it.
He-
You can't have it.
He goes, I'm going to.
Reach it, Kellisto, hurry!
He goes to grab it and shove it on his own head.
Oh, look, we're at the start of it. I just start pulling it down the rest of his body.
Ulfgar.
Kellisto,
Okay.
help me!
So Ulfgar, you're in pitch black, and you try to take a breath, and there's nothing there. It's like a vacuum. It's like you can't breathe.
Is he starting to flail a little bit, like he may be hurting or something?
His body on the other side just goes completely limp. Like his arms drop to his sides.
I look at Callisto, I'm like,
It looks like
okay.
he's swaying a little bit, like he's about to kind of keel over, like he's swaying.
Do you think we should take this off?
Yeah,
Take
I'm
it
kind of
off
panicking. And I'm
Alright,
like,
I
let's
pull
get
it
it off, get it off, get it off!
I just pull it off real quick. I just like stare at him. Kind of kick him a little bit with my claw. Hey!
You
Ulfgar.
can... Ulfgar, you can breathe again.
See, I told you this thing was dangerous.
I'm like, Callisto, reach in and think about that staff. And I'll hold it.
Aelia interrupts you and is like, okay, look, if you're going to play with anything here, play with this. And she takes her spear and she hands it to them.
I grab it, and I'm like, okay, let's just try and see how far we can get it in there. I won't let it go, I promise. And I try.
I recommend
in.
not putting the pointy end first.
Yep.
So I put it in as far as I can go. I keep going.
Yeah.
Does my hand go all the way in?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I kind of pull it back out again.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, that's... And you said if we put our hand in and we think about something, it'll appear, right?
That's why I keep trying to tell you. I'm like, think of one of those, just a spear, and look in, reach in, and see if it happens. I've heard of bags like these.
Well, I know I put a coin in there, so I'm going to reach in and I'm going to think about a coin really hard. I got my eyes like really closed and I'm like, coin.
Think of 2 coins. 2 coins. I'm just like all excited like a little kid.
Yep, so the coin appears in your hand.
I get really excited. And I pull it out.
But you put it in there already.
I know.
I reach in and I think of another gold coin. And I'm just like grabbing around, like see if I can find any.
It's like ultimate storage. We can carry anything.
Ulfgar goes, I've got 2 gold coins in my hands as well. It's magic.
I just pick up an apple and throw it at you. Flippy, I hand Flippy an apple. I said, throw it at him.
So how many gold coins did you put in there? Just the one? Or?
I just put the 1.
Okay. Are you trying to retrieve more? Or?
I did. I just immediately stuck my hand in and thought of 2 gold coins. I just said it out loud and to see if I could get anything.
Nope. Nothing happened.
I do wonder if the previous owners had left anything in there, though. But it could be anything.
You have a point. I said I've heard of bags like these before. Like with all my travels through different cities, and they seem to be able to hold like everything. They're never ending. And I was like, what would you call this? A bag of holding? Just like shrug my shoulder.
That's what my Uncle Peter called it before he stuck his arm in and lost it.
Well, he probably deserved it.
He said he got it from this darn guy down on... Oh, I can't remember the name of the shop. It was some kind of like purple man shop or something. He had this, he had this purple fascination. It's, oh, if I see that guy again, I'll give him what for. But he sold him this thing saying that it was magical storage. As you put it, next thing you know, he's lost his arm. So just when you stick your hand in there, make sure you're not thinking about losing your hand.
Oh, it didn't seem to work with me thinking about 2 gold coins. So I just reach in and like rummage around to see if I can pull anything else out of the bag. My Aelia might have a point. There might be stuff left in here from whoever had it before.
No, Ulfgar, I'm beginning to think you exaggerate your stories a bit.
Hold on a second. Let me see that thing. And he sticks
just
his
yell,
he sticks his arm in there and starts thinking of Uncle Peter's arm.
Oh goodness! Oh my goodness! If you pull an arm out of there, I'm gonna slap you with it.
Valia's gonna steal it from you and slap you. You don't get anything thinking of Uncle Peter's arm.
Alright, he pulls it out and says, well, it's not the same bag that took my uncle's arm, so I think we'll be alright for now.
Artis. Aelia breaks the mood.
Me and Callisto are just gonna hover over in the corner and like keep reaching our hands in the back.
You wouldn't happen to know about any history with this continent and the giants?
And the frost giants, he said?
Yeah, the same.
He says they shouldn't be here. He says this is entirely the opposite of their favored climate. He says, and they, he says, not that I have any sympathy for them, but they must be very uncomfortable, which kind of brings a smile to my face, actually.
I just yell out mine too and go back to the back.
She mentions that the crypt they found had a giant's skull in it, resting as a kind of altar, and wonders if he might know anything.
He says, that sounds kind of like a cult to me. He says, I don't know where they would have got a giant skull from, though. Maybe very ancient. He says
It did say it was taken there by a cult.
He says, I have no idea, like what kind of giant it would be. Probably not Frost. He says, stating the obvious.
It was worth a shot.
He says, now back to these dragon bones.
Says, but one last thing before the dragon bones. And Ulfgar points to his ring finger and says, how did you come across getting it?
He says, I removed it from some dubious characters for safekeeping.
Were they also frost giants?
He says, no, they were not.
Do you know what their interest is in it?
He says, well, it is kind of their thing, right? The snow, the ice.
But to face this kind of landscape and terrain, and obviously, heck, they might have even run into a T-Rex or two, but...
It did look like a warship.
He says, well, what I encountered, he says, seemed to be a search party. He said there were 3 giants and a couple of winter wolves as well. He says, pretty sure that's what they're here for. And you're right, they probably have some ulterior motives or ideas of what to do with it if they were to get it. And but what the specifics of that plan is, I don't know. So it's most important, just they're never going to get it.
How do you
What is the ring?
Oh.
He says,
Ulfgar would just kind of like hush and be like, shh.
Shady Arokh are listening.
See, and go on, though.
Oh, that's all he says. He says it's a curse and a blessing at the same time.
How do you suppose they came to know you were in possession? Do you have any working theories?
He says, not especially. He says, no doubt they purchased this information.
Right. Well.
But who from? Says,
you were telling us about a dragon.
I hold up the bag. I'm like, we can just put him in this.
I don't think he'll fit inside the opening.
He says,
we can
what
break it
happened
down.
to him? I have no intention of giving that a try.
I'm gonna hook the bag to my belt, and I'll tell Callisto we could put everything in here.
See if you can fit my bottle of Tesh in there.
I just laugh. I'm like, put it in there.
How big's the opening? Is it?
Yeah, well, but Ulfgar's
Awesome, we
head fit in there, so yes.
Yeah,
can
it'll
fit.
fit. Yeah.
So many bottles of Tesh in here. Oh,
But
Can you
Also-
drink that many bottles?
sure.
Oh yes, she can. I like nod my head.
Ulfgar says, "Here's a test for you. Take a couple of fragile objects, put them inside." And he reaches on the table, grabs two of the glasses or cups or something like that, and shake it. See if they smash. I can always fix it if
Those
they do.
aren't yours.
I can
Ulfgar.
fix it. It's all right. I'm sure that they'll be okay.
I
take
whispered to Callisto. I was like, maybe you should give her some Tesh. A lot of it.
Can't. We're about to break the glasses.
Okay. I had already fastened the bag to my belt, but I'll hold the flap open.
Just
Okay.
shake your booty back and forth.
I do this awkward, shaking my tail and trying to shake this bag around. I start jumping up and down. Flippy starts freaking out, flipping around, jumping up and down with me. I was like, no, it's not dancing monkey fruit. I'm just doing this for experiment.
Artis is like, Ulfgar, can't you play a little tune or something? Well, if we're gonna dance, we may as well have music.
He says, "I don't think I could stop from laughing while I play."
Okay, I stop jumping around and then I open the bag.
He says,
Reach
"Hold on,
in.
before you reach in," and he takes his hands and smushes the bag flat. Or tries to see if it'll just smush flat as well. He says, "Now try it."
Okay, I open and reach in for the glass.
Yep, and the glasses are intact. Da 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 da.
I put them on the table. I was like, glasses! Yay!
Aye, you know what goes with glasses? Tesh!
I reach in and grab a bottle of the Tesh, put it on the table.
Let's have a round and talk about these dragon bones then.
I fill up everyone's glass halfway full and mine all the way to the tip.
I just grab a cup of water and I'm like, thanks, just kind of slide it over.
So Artis says, there's not too much information that I can share, he says, but from what I've heard, this is the remains of a dragon. He says, we don't know what finished her, or I don't know what killed her. He says, but you can be sure that if she was rooting around, there's something worth, rooting around here for. Dragons don't just hang out in the jungle for kicks.
No. Yeah, they like lots and lots of treasure. So if it's something that's, like you say, if it piqued the dragon's interest, then it is definitely probably worth quite a bit.
Ulfgar, you could start seeing he's got this grinding gears in his in the looks in his eye. He starts getting really thoughtful, quiet, very unnerving, considering it being Ulfgar. He just starts thinking.
We have a task.
Aye, but if we...
Plans for financial benefit can...
Not financial. Useful. Tools. Magical items. Dragons crave these as well. It's possible we might find something else that could help us. Anything that would give us an edge to fight this necromancer. And a dead dragon's hoard? Sure, the gold would be nice. I'm sure we could spend it if we get back, but I think it would be more important if we were able to find some useful items.
I would like to point out that seems to be my ancestors' will that I have come to a land where things don't stay dead. That might include dragon.
It would be useful to ensure that the dragon does not come back, so perhaps taking you to this location was destined as well.
There are even undead that I cannot put back in the ground.
Well, I'm sure that we could then just turn it to ashes. I have an interest in this dragon bone grave. I did before, obviously, for gold. I do have a bit of a weakness for the stuff, but more so in this case for things that would help keep us alive, or give us an edge in the battle that is due to come at some point. Assuming we find our prey.
I'm kind of with Artist. I'd like to know what killed a big dragon like that, because the bones were very big, according to Tobias, and you know, and obviously it caught that guy off guard because he didn't. I don't think he would really flail himself into whatever that liquid was that killed him. So
Yeah, I don't think he survived the fall.
Excellent artists.
I mean, if
Okay,
it's
but I will
something
tell you
that's
this. Other than cages, I'm not scared of a lot. But if that dragon comes back, I am leaving.
well, I mean, if it comes back, we kind of won't make it
Yeah.
make it out, so we don't really have much to worry about.
That dragon comes back, I think we're all going to be leaving at that point.
I forget that you two-legged folk are...
Sorry, you cut out there.
I forget that you two-legged folk are slow.
Ulfgar's suddenly like thoughtful thing, like, does she mean physically or mentally?
Artist said, you don't have to be fast, just faster than the slowest guy.
This is true.
Ulfgar says, I...
Everyone looks at Ulfgar.
Oh, sorry, he says. Sorry.
Right. So, who's interested in going to seek this, see if there is potential for objects of value that might help us on our way?
I'm always up for adventure and treasure, and you know, like I said, I'm really want to know what could kill something so big so easily like that. If artists, you know, not to be all, you know, giving him credit for everything, but if he seems a little worried about it, it sounded like it was a majestic big dragon, which most dragons are, but if something could kill it so easily like that and leave its bones.
Well, nothing to say it was an easy kill.
From the explanation of it, it was fully intact. So
Was it? Or was it just bones?
the bones were intact.
Right, but they were also in the middle of a swamp, so I don't think many people would want to bother with it.
Tobias says, he says, well, I couldn't see the head, he said, but there was the huge rib cage and wing bones that were rising out of the muck. He says, and there was lots of like vegetation grown all over them, so obviously it had been there for a while. He says, you know, he says actually maybe, he says, I think I had an idea of where the skull would be, or maybe it was just under the surface. He says, I don't remember.
What do you think, Dragonbait?
Dragonbait.
You've been quiet this whole time.
He kind of rolls his eyes at you.
I haven't smelled a thing from you all night.
He gives off kind of a soft scent of honeysuckle.
All right.
I think we should just rest up, and then if we're gonna do this, head out tomorrow, or discuss what we're gonna do with this ritual. How long is it gonna take them to get?
Right, and perhaps it might be best suited if we are able to find this dragon and perhaps its horde. Maybe we can glean some more information from our host at the same time.
Yeah, because I'm sure the ritual, getting it ready, is gonna probably take quite a bit. Because rituals, I just like hold my hands on rituals.
Right.
I was like, Aelia, I mean, in your experience, like a good big ritual is gonna take some time.
Aelia actually agrees with Valia.
Like, see, I know things. I didn't touch anything in the last place we were at, by the way. I just-
Yeah, you were. Apart from running off ahead of us all, you were quite well behaved.
Aye, the
Relative
powers
to
of
the
Tej. To see you two actually agreeing on something. And he, like, downs the last of his Tej.
I just get up and go sit in the corner and pull out the leather that I've been using to work on Flippy's arm. I'm still working on that.
Right.
Leather, Flippy's armor, same thing.
Yeah.
Your stitches might be a little bit wonky after after a couple of glasses of Tej.
So Ulfgar proposes that we all just, you know, do whatever for the rest of the night. Oh, hug escape. Hold on. Oy. And we reconvene in the morning with oh, what's her name? Sorry,
You know,
I have
that
it here.
Bird person.
Hey, get down, get down. Not
Ashara?
Yes, Ashara. Sorry, I'm like Srera, Keek, Waxana. Come on, where is it? There it is, Ashara. That we speak with Ashara about it and how we're thinking about making a diversion to the dragon skeleton.
You do recall that Ashara told you that the ritual doesn't actually take that long to complete.
That's right. She did say that.
It only takes about 10 minutes.
So then we could pretty much just do that practically whenever at this point. So then maybe we get our stuff identified. See if she can give us any more information on the skeleton itself, and it's possible her people have you know, visited that area already. And then we decide what we're to do at that point. Sound good?
Sure. Or we can get the ritual done if it doesn't take that long, and then we can fly there and fly back and fly away if we get in trouble. Fly over the frost giants and tease them.
Something I didn't ask is how fast one could fly with this spell, because if all it does is give us like this very slow motion, it might not be as useful as we might have thought. Do we have to be like shot by a slingshot or something in order to get momentum?
I mean, I can throw you off a cliff when we get it done.
It wouldn't be the first time, but let's... I don't know that I really want to...
I'd like to point out any time that we spend flying towards Dragon Bones is time that we don't have flying towards where we're meant to be.
Right. And I agree on that. I think that it might be time wasted for us on the search for the Necromancer's lair, because we have no idea how much of this flight time we might need.
Well, then let's go there first, come back, go to Necro.
Okay.
Either way, let's get some rest, get our stuff identified, figure things out from there.
Right. So you're all kind of wrapping it up for the evening? Is that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna wander off and go find those guys that I partied with the last time I was here.
Srera and Keek.
Yeah, you can find them easy enough, and they're quite willing to share some more Tej with you. Okay, so the rest of you kind of settle in for the evening and take a rest. The Arokh are happy to give you one of their kind of living quarters, living chambers again to sleep in. So there's plenty of room in there for you to kind of find a somewhat comfy space and take some shelter and sleep indoors for a change.
Luxury.
Yeah.
With whatever time I have while I'm in there, I'll just use the mending spell on like the walls and the ceiling and stuff like that, because I know that the place is kind of in a little bit of disrepair. Trying to like fix it a bit.
Yeah. Yep, you can certainly do that. Make some progress on it before you go to sleep. And then you're kind of awoken in the morning by the bustling outside of the Arokh going about their lives. And breakfast is available for you in the dining hall if you wish to partake. And then, yeah.
No survival rolls needed.
Then Ashara kind of approaches you as you're finishing your food. Please let me know if anybody wants to do anything different. But otherwise, Ashara will approach you as you're finishing your food and says, "So, I'm ready to identify what items you have, the properties of the items you have, if you don't mind presenting them."
Okay. So unless somebody's not wanting their stuff identified, I'm just going to go with the list that I had in the thing here.
I am happy to have the ring on my hand. I did.
Let's go with that first.
Okay. So she ritual casts identify and says this is a ring of protection. She says this will. I'm just gonna out of game stats, right? So you can write it down. But it's the ring of protection +1.
Thank you.
I'm sure that's a big surprise, right? Oh.
Yeah, I'll hold up the horn. I'm like, this one.
Again, performs the ritual and says that is a horn of blasting. Be careful with that one. What's next?
This heart amulet.
She says that is an amulet of health. Says that one is very valuable.
This bag of darkness.
She says that is a bag of holding. Surprise, surprise.
I was like, see, I told you I heard about something like that.
And these cheery red potions.
Those are potions of healing.
Standard.
Hang on, let me make sure.
Okay.
Is it the potions you gave everybody?
Yeah.
Okay. And you gave what, 2 each?
2 to everybody.
Yep, they're 2d4 + 2.
Okay. And then we've got these 2 wands. A spider wand and a rope wand.
She says this is a wand of web. Could be handy.
Spiders.
And she says this is a wand of paralysis.
Oh.
Also pretty handy.
Okay. Spelling that wrong. There we go. 2 wands. The jewelry. Horn. Healing potions. Bag of holding. Wow. Okay. Oh. And he's got the golden heart item from the oracle, and he'll say, I can't remember what this does. I know that it's able to turn people back from being turned to stone.
She again goes through the ritual and says this will cast greater restoration.
Okay.
She says I think it only has a few charges though.
Oh, so it's got a limited use. Right. Okay. Are there any other magics that people have they wanted to get inspected? I don't think that I have anything. I've got a spell scroll of commune with nature. I think this is when I get that actually identified. If it wasn't already before.
So are you keeping track of other people's, like, stuff that you've found, you know, in general, or just because if you're keeping track of other things, Tobias has a potion that he received from Zalcore that he's gonna ask.
That would
And
be
the small onyx orb.
Oh, right, yeah, the folk.
all right. So let's start with the Zalcore potion.
Okay, so that is a potion of animal friendship.
Okay.
And the onyx orb isn't magical itself, but it's just, you know, it's like an arcane focus.
Okay.
It's a spell focus.
I have a bag of unknown stuff from the animal prince.
From the where?
I don't know. I wrote it as animal prince. I have no idea what that is about.
What have you got?
Just like that's just what I wrote down on my sheet there. I think because I wrote it down before I had half plate armor, so this must have been some time ago because I got the half plate when we were in what do you call it? I can't remember the name of any of the towns. Yeah, when we were in Nyanzaru.
Oh, do you mean the prince that was trying to collect
Yes. That's right.
the menagerie?
Right. We've got an unknown amount of money in it. Because I never looked inside to see how much was in it. So yeah, I guess now would be a good time to count that and add it to the rest of the money. So whenever you get the chance, you don't have to do that now.
Okay.
Valia also had taken 9 vials of a clear liquid that shimmered. Or did we give that back?
We gave that back. That was part of the Gorgon's tincture. To keep her snakes looking healthy and fresh.
Well, there was that vial of black liquid. So we took everything back that we had given to the snake.
And then we gave it back to her again.
Well, no.
It got...
she didn't care about anything.
Right,
Except
that actually got thrown in the river.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, never mind.
And we were just eager to leave at that point. And the river was also filled with crocodiles, so... yeah, so...
Okay.
I think that's about it. I think that's about it. And upon her finishing with all the rituals, because that's useful. I have no idea what other things Tobias might have, but I'd imagine that if you don't have access to it there, that we can find out next week.
Pretty sure that's
I have everything.
Oh, sorry. Was it?
No, I was just saying I've got everything done.
Okay.
So.
Kellisto, you have anything else you want identified?
No, I sold everything.
Okay.
And what I didn't sell ended up in the river.
Yeah, it's sad. I guess that's about it. So then I'd ask her if she knows anything about the dragon skeleton that is not far from where we're at. Have Valia bring out the map and everything like that.
Mm-hmm. She says, excuse me. She says we've flown over that many times. She says It is the skeleton of a dragon, as you already know. She says, but we have no reason to investigate it further. Says, there's nothing there for us.
I was just curious if you knew of any potentially of where it may have roosted once upon a time, or if in your flights you may have seen something of that nature.
She says, no, we're not aware of any kind of a dragon cave or a roost.
Well, the reason that I ask is because we are considering detouring to the dragon bones in search of its lair. Possibly, if we're able to find its lair, if it has its hoard remaining. And while gold is nice, we thought perhaps some of the weapons or magical items may be still intact that could help us in our journey. What do you think of this idea?
She says, depends how much of a hurry you're in.
He kind of looks over at Artis to see the expression on Artis's face from that comment. I mean, we are in a hurry, but obviously we also want to be well prepared for what lies ahead.
Artis seems like pretty neutral about it. Like, sure, loot is good, but he has motivation to complete this quest as quickly as possible as well. So,
all right.
Well, you know where I stand on this. Okay.
Well, let's take a vote then. And he says, those in favor of going to the dragon bones, say aye, or just the number 1 in chat. Those in favor of pursuing flight in the necromancer's lair first, say nay.
I for going to the bone?
Yes. So just put 1 in chat for bone and 2 for the lich. Assuming it's a lich. I'm just calling it necromancer, but I don't know.
You voted twice.
I know. I was just saying 1 or 2. So I was wanting to go to the dragon bones, but
How would Tobias vote?
So previously he was not interested in going there. Like, I think if you recall...
Going where? To the dragon bones?
Right.
Actually, I thought that it was the opposite. I thought he did want to go.
I don't think... Well...
I thought he just wanted to get out of Kir Sabal.
Well, either way, outvote the no's are outvote.
It's true.
It's true.
Yeah, I mean, you guys found that before you got to Kir Sabal, so...
Unless Vaughn can vote.
All right. Well,
He's like sitting down there by himself and nobody sees him. I'm like, Vaughn, raise your hand for 1.
he can't hear you. All right. So, I won't make you come along with us or anything. You're welcome to stay here, and we're glad to rejoin and continue on if you so desire. I have no desire to force people on any journey, but I would like to go to the dragon bones. It's not too far from here, just a few days, and I think it would do us some good to actually potentially be better equipped.
Well, as I said, I will follow you because whatever the task I'm here for will need help, and I need to keep the help alive. But first sign of an undead dragon, I'm out.
Right.
I could also, I mean, we're fixing to go up against a necromancer. You're definitely going to be useful there. So, I mean, you got that. Just, my words aren't very reassuring. This is my try at it.
Ulfgar would say, well...
I think Aelia would interpret your attempt at trying.
I give you this weird, awkward, like, teepee smile, because I'm like, you know, I look at Ulfgar and shake my head with a thumbs up, like, yeah.
I appreciate it, Valia.
Ulfgar would say, not that I recommend it, but should you be looking for a force that is against the undead actively, and he says, obviously the Arokh are not equipped for such a menace. There was a camp that we came across. They were forcefully conscripting people into their ranks to fight the undead, but they were treating the symptoms and not the cause. So, and then I think that's Camp Vengeance, or was that Camp Righteous?
Camp Righteous was the one that had been kind of abandoned.
All right, so he says it's Camp Vengeance, and he points to it on the map and says, if you do feel the need to join up and be to bolster some ranks, they would benefit from your presence. But
what do you mean by symptoms of?
They're doing daily patrols of the undead in the immediate area to their camp, but not tending to their own people as they should.
You don't want to join
undead
them.
Hostile?
They are, but it's more like, have you ever seen a village that just kind of throws people to a volcano type situation, or have heard of such a story?
I hold up my hand. I'm like, look, I'll tell you. The guy who's running it is absolutely insane. He's mean. He throws his people out there, whether they have to go fight the undead, whether they want to or not, or if they're injured. They have sick people that are plagued right now because, you know, undead's gross. I said, and on top of that, he's not very good, and I made him pee himself, so...
So he's a damned paladin, is he?
Yes. He is not a very good person, and I would... you know, we don't get along, but I wouldn't wish you to go there.
I don't get along with the ways of men in terms of dealing with the dead, no. I don't think that sounds like the best course of action.
Yeah, he's not dealing with them the way they should be dealt with, I guess you could. Though they are undead, like shambling zombies, like we've seen. Still, and he also forces his people to do it, whether, like I said, whether they're injured, sick. If they're able to move, he makes them do it. So
I'll just say he's an inept...
It's just this absolute sour face on Aelia.
He's an
on the way back, I want to make him pee himself again. If that's okay with you.
If ever we go in the area, I'll be happy to have that happen. He's an inept commander of an otherwise allied group of people. We have the same enemy and have no need for bloodshed amongst each other, but due to his self-righteousness, yeah.
Is it righteousness or fear that he does this?
I think it's more along the lines of he doesn't want to get his hands dirty.
His second in charge, yeah, his second in charge is really good, and I would hope that one day she'll realize and she'll step up, because she has her concerns but won't step up to them.
Aye. But should you desire to meet some people that have the same things, or desires, I guess, of the undead
not them
being
anyway.
cleansed, they are a potential stop if ever you need to.
Thank you for telling me the truth there, Valia.
Sorry?
Who are you saying this to, Oscar?
To
Me.
her, yes. Aelia.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I said, and also, while we were going through hell in that little camp, this guy, I point out Artis, and I just kind of, you know, smirk at him. I was like, he was watching us from a tree the whole...
Well, I have to say he was the smart one amongst us. It's not like he has the ability to heal the sick like we did.
Yeah, he's pretty sickly himself all the time, and I just kind of elbow him. I'm like, huh.
He says, "Thanks for the reminder, Valerie. I appreciate your concern. Duly noted."
You're welcome, Atticus.
Atticus. Gosh. Right.
Matters of life and death are nothing to just throw the living at.
I agree. It only feeds the
No,
ranks
I
of the
can
undead.
agree with that too. I like to eat the people, but I mean, they're usually dead when I eat them.
Yeah, and you can't be sure in these lands now, can you?
Yeah, as you notice, I haven't really been eating many people lately because they've been pretty zombie.
It's
Oh yeah,
probably
Aelia
for the
hasn't been
best.
with us since Aelia hasn't been with us when I ate anybody yet. Just kind of freak out.
Ulfgar says, it is a custom with the Lizardfolk to not let any meat go to
Cannibalism,
waste.
I'm aware.
Aye.
I do try to refrain myself though.
And she surprisingly does a good job of it, as I've witnessed so far. Anyway.
So Ashara says, "I'd love to stay and chat."
Sorry, I thought she'd already finished with us. My bad.
But she's kind of, so she says, "So it's your intention to check this dragon skeleton out then?"
I think that we will. So it'll still be a few days before we'll be ready for the ritual. Can we?
Also, with it being so close to you guys, if there's any potential threat, we can also keep it from you. I mean, I know you are pretty high up here, but you never know right now what's with the way things are going, necromancers and stuff.
She says, "Whatever your decision is," she says, "there's no need to justify it to me." She says, "Whenever you're ready for the ritual," she says, I'm prepared to perform it." She says, she says, "I have the orchid drying as we speak, and fairly shortly it will be ready to make into the powder that's needed." So she says, "Just let me know when you're ready." She says, "But she says, if you're going back down to the jungle floor," she says, "then the group will be ready to give you easy passage, whenever you want." She says, "Just find Nifir and he'll sort it out for you."
Before we go, I do ask, do you happen to have any, maybe I'm looking for a different weapon. Do you happen to have anything like a warhammer or a battle axe or morning star?
She says, most of our folk, she says, carry simple weapons. She says, quickly checking the. She says, she points at your javelins, Valia, and says, "This is pretty much what we use." She says that and this, and she holds up her talons, like.
Yeah, I hold my claws up. I'm like, yeah, they work pretty good for me.
She says, "I'm sorry to disappoint," she says, "but I don't think we're gonna have anything better than what you already have."
Okay, I'm fine with that.
Okay. She says, "Good luck with your travels, and I'll see you in a few days."
Yes.
And with that, she exits and continues on with her daily shizzle whizzle.
Ulfgar would say, "Hey, Kellisto, try your bag out and see if you can pull out some weapon from it. Maybe somebody left one in there."
I don't have the bag. Valia has the bag.
What are you doing with the
I just
bag?
hold
You've
the-
got the horn.
I
Give her
just-
the bag.
I just hold the flap open on the bag. I'm like, you can reach in there.
Valia, come
What do you want
on.
me to look?
You're hogging
Oh,
all the
you-
magical fun stuff. Give her the amulet if you're going to hold the bag.
I don't know what amulet you're talking about.
The one for Vorn.
I don't know what amulet you're talking about. I said, besides, Me and Callisto knows this is our bag. She could get it.
Alright,
I'll try. I'm gonna reach in. What do you want, Valia?
I want a warhammer.
Alright, so I concentrate and see if there's a warhammer in there.
Nope, no warhammer.
No warhammer. I've put a sword. Is there a sword? Any kind of sword?
Nope.
It bag's empty.
That's disappointing.
Maybe we'll find something on the way. Maybe I can fashion dragon bone into a
Weapon smithing.
For a minute, I thought you were calling dragon bait dragon bone. I'm like, why would you want to turn him into a spear? All right.
Poor dragon bait.
So then, let's be on our way to the dragon swamp. Dragon bone swamp.
So, so you go to find the Frere.
Yeah.
And he has an excited glint in his eye when you find him. And he says, I hear you have a side quest.
Does he have an exclamation mark above his head?
He says, I think I can help, perhaps more than you anticipate.
Go on then.
And he motions to his friends behind him, and he says, we have the morning free. He says, and we can fly pretty fast. He says, I think we could give you a ride.
Sold.
Okay.
He says, you'd have to leave the golem behind.
Right.
He says, there's no way that's traveling by flight. But he says, if it's just you lot, then we can probably muster it.
Fair enough. Valia, would you mind telling Vorn then to protect these people while we're gone?
Sure.
Especially if any frost giants come along.
Yep. Let's take me down there, and I'll give him a heart-to-heart talk.
Vorn, I know you're gonna miss us a lot, but just be a good boy. So the Aarakocra, basically they've got a little kind of squad of Aarakocra, mix of men and women, and they're willing to kind of give you faster travel over the jungle tops because the site is fairly close by.
Mm-hmm.
And Nefer says, we probably can't get away with this again. He says, I don't think Ashara would exactly approve of our using our time in this way, he says, but it does sound exciting.
Oh, by the way, I make Flippy stay with the fort.
Okay, got it. So if everybody is willing, then they'll do that.
Sure.
Let's go.
Okay.
I'm imagining a centaur.
I just look at Aelia and I'm like, are you ready? Saddle up!
Yep.
I just kind of like snicker.
There'll be another level before I can polymorph you into something fun.
Aelia takes the humiliation on the...
I offer you some Tej.
That's funny.
Aelia takes it.
So the Aarakocra travel perhaps not as fast as they would if they were just flying solo kind of thing, but they do cut your journey time into quarters, right? They're flying fairly fast and are able to take a direct route. So the 20 or so miles that it takes you to get to the site that Tobias had found, whoop, whoop, flies by without a problem, and they kind of have a little difficulty getting you to the ground because there's not too many openings in the trees, but they're able to kind of make it work. And let me move those things out of the way. And we get... Oh, no, not that one. Not that one. I think it's that one? Yeah. Okay, so we can scoot that over there. Right, so, so you arrive, probably, early afternoon at this site, and let me describe it to you. So a wide sinkhole yawns before you. The earth around it is littered with goblin bones. The opening is about 90 feet across and is roughly circular. The stone walls are nearly vertical. 30 feet down, the sinkhole is filled with murky green water, and hundreds of frogs hop from one floating plant to another. The massive rib cage and fine wing bones of a dragon rise above the murk. Vines, moss, and lichen hang from the bones. Judging from how much of the skeleton is exposed, the water can't be more than 3 to 4 feet deep. So how the Arokh will work it is they're not willing to participate in any kind of shenanigans. But like they think it might be a little frivolous to put their lives at risk for this, so they'll kind of they'll drop you off, and again I think perhaps how they do it is they'll drop you kind of in the upper branches of a tree, because again it's quite difficult for them to land with you. So you will have to kind of climb down the tree to the ground a bit, and they ask you to climb back up again when you're ready, and they'll try and make it work.
Slight thing with that is the Centaur issue. So I could get us down easy enough because I could featherfall us.
Okay.
But unless they've got really long ropes for this harness.
Can't really winch back up again. Yeah, I mean I think they can make it work, right? It's a little challenging to get you to the ground.
Well, like I said, I could featherfall us, so we don't need to. They don't need to risk. They just get us to like
going from the ground to the canopy. That's going to be tricky.
Then we can easily just kind of like feather fall, half climb down through the branches.
So they say then in that case we will have to meet you on the ground. They say we'll circle high above in a few hours time to see if you're ready.
Okay. Thank you, my friends.
And they take off, big flapping of wings and massive wind, pushes just as they kind of muscle their way up past the rest of the jungle. Okay, so that's what you see before you. The walls of the sinkhole are covered in a fair amount of vegetation as well. So while they are completely vertical and they are stone, there is some kind of vines and shrubs kind of growing from them. So.
I'd like to see if I could figure out if this sinkhole was like formed from the dragon crashing into the ground, or if it was perhaps formed by something like digging and making the hole or something.
Yeah, make a nature check. Knowledge, nature? Is that still a thing?
I think so. Yeah, there's a nature. 4. Strong 4.
You're not sure.
Okay. So, if I were a dragon, I don't know what kind it might have been. Is it one of the metallic dragon types that are evil, or perhaps a good? Either way, we should spread out and see if we can find some kind of entrance or cavern. It might even go through under the water.
Arctis says, you can usually tell by their face, right? The metallic dragons have the higher arch to their brow, and
Right.
Says you can usually tell by the shape of their head.
Let's see if we can find its skull. That might give us a hint as to how it might have lived. If it was a swamp dragon or an out-of-place ice dragon. And he kind of looks at Artis.
Unless there is another way down, I don't think there is going to be a good way for me to get.
I could feather fall us again.
But then get back up, Ulfgar?
Well, that might make things easier for them to actually pick you back up.
One sec. Let me look at that.
No. I've got a very whimpery pug next to me.
Yeah, I hear her. She's done.
Yup.
She's done playing D&D. No more.
I've got dog food. So, nom, nom, nom.
It's playtime now, not play.
So you think, Aelia, as what you've managed to do before is you can climb, but it's just very slow. So
Yeah.
you take about like four times as long to do the climb as your bipedal friends.
Yeah. Aelia looks to Ulfgar and says, well, if we're going to do this, we should do this. But I'm going to come down last. I don't want to risk that thing waking up and me being trapped.
Fair enough.
So sacrificial dwarf. I mean, Ulfgar, are you going to go first?
I'm just climbing down, yeah?
I mean, I don't know. I'm just picking on you.
Yes, I'm the sacrificial dwarf. I'm also the only dwarf, so that makes me the sacrificial dwarf by default.
So,
Excuse me.
so you're kind of climbing down?
Yeah.
That's what you do. Okay. So you can scale, well, you know what, roll an athletics check just to make sure you don't, like, completely. It's pretty easy climb, but just to make sure you don't. Yeah. So you can scale down there, pretty quickly. Are you...
Lower center of gravity, you know.
Yeah. So what are you doing when... I mean, you can climb down the wall, but you think the water is going to be pretty high up on you if you go in. Might even be, like, up over the top. Are you going to swim, or what's your plan?
I'm not sure. I just wanted to see if I could see its head or anything like that at this point. Because, I mean, we could see the rib cage and the wings. I don't know if I could see its head from there. If I could figure out what kind of critter it might be.
Okay. So As you're kind of examining the skeleton, I guess, could you make an investigation check? I'm just going to assume that you've climbed down kind of in the area where you think the head would be.
Right.
So you think that the head is down here.
I'd call for Kellisto or Valia to come down, and there's quite deep water here to be searched through. I fear that I won't be quite as effective as either of you might be.
I'll go ahead and climb down.
I'll stay with Ayla in case she needs assistance.
Okay, I'll just dive into the water, apparently.
Thanks, Kellisto.
It's an easy climb, so you don't fall in. Are you climbing down into the water, or are you stopping above the water?
Whichever way he went.
I'm just on the edge.
Yeah, Ulfgar's kind of hanging on to some big, thick, rooty vines, but hasn't dipped his toes in yet.
Because it looks like it's a bit deep for dwarves. For me to, like, wade through, it might be, like, over my head.
And there's, like...
Does the water look clear?
It is murky.
Can I, like...
kind of, like, frogs just hopping around. Some of them are kind of eyeballing you, like...
Can I just throw, like, some sticks or leaves or something in the water to make sure it's, like, gonna disintegrate me?
Okay, yeah, you can snap off a chunk of vine and toss it in. And, yeah, I mean, the vine just kind of bobs on the surface, like... you do see, like, frogs all darting around where it's landed, and... maybe some fish, too.
I'll slowly make my way into the water, then.
Okay. So...
move faster that way.
Make an investigation check. Kind of successfully check out the bones and locate the skull.
Nope.
Okay. Well, you think you can, and yeah, you think it's down in this area.
Okay, I'll tell Front. Well, I can go a little further up to see. Can I grab one of the frogs?
Make a dex. Dexterity check. See if you're fast enough to grab one of these little suckers. They're pretty. Nope. The frog you grab for him and he just jumps right away. Ribbit.
I just laugh. Okay, and I'll kind of continue on slowly. See if I can get around by the...
Okay. So you take a little time and, you think that you've located, kind of where the skull is generally. It does seem to be, like, fairly well embedded in the muck and the water.
But it looks dead?
Yeah.
Okay, I just kind of called back a little bit. I'm like, it's dead. Probably for a little while.
Can you tell what kind of dragon it is by the shape of its skull?
It's dragon.
Arctis says, what's going on down there?
Why don't you come on in and find out?
He starts climbing down.
Thank you.
I'll look at the skull a little bit and, you know, have a limited knowledge of dragons, I guess. Well, I guess speaking Draconic, I don't know.
I think, yeah, you'd have a fair idea. What are you gonna do with it to have a look at it?
You said it's pretty kind of stuck in the mud.
Right now it's like under the water, kind of half buried in muck.
I guess I'll go down since I can breathe underwater and I can hold my breath up to 15 minutes. I'll see if I can kind of maybe clear away some of it to see if I can see the skull.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Artis isn't coming down into the water, but he says, lift it up out of there.
I come back up from the water. I'm like, you come over here and help me. And I go back down there, start still trying to clear.
Okay.
How big is the skull? I'd be asking.
Probably about as big as you are.
I'm sure she.
I come back up and I'm
pick that
like,
up, no problem.
I can't pick it up. It's buried kind of in the muck and underneath the water. So if somebody can come help me bury it, we can get a better look at it. But, I mean, I'll give it a good, pull.
Okay. Make a strength check. It's slippery as fuck. It's very slippery. It's very slippery. So you've got a grip on it and you heave and your fingers just kind of, it's got this like algae kind of build up.
Oh, I see. Now that I have aspect of the beast, I can, any carrying capacity is doubled and I have advantage on strength checks made to push, pull, lift, or break object.
Oh, well in that case.
Bam!
I forgot we leveled up.
With a great slurp sound, the skull comes free of the muck, and you see Valia, and you even hear Artis kind of gasp a little bit.
I'm gonna put it like over my head and like slowly come up and make noise.
It just raises this massive skull up out of the water, and yeah.
You hear me going, I'm a dragon, roar! Like as I'm walking back to y'all.
So Valia, as you're doing this, hang on one sec.
Well done. Artist, can you tell what kind it is?
As you're doing this, Valia, something bites your leg below the water.
Oh dear.
And you take, hang on. Ooh. You take 15 points of piercing damage.
Holy crap!
Whoa.
She dropped the skull.
And actually that is, oh, go ahead.
I just yell out and I'm like, there's something in the water, and I'm gonna just kind of toss the skull as gently as I can and try to get it.
Okay. So that's, so yeah, Kellisto and Aelia, you see, like, Valia's face kind of grimace with pain a little bit as her leg is bitten. And, you hear her say, there's something in the water! And the skull gets kind of set aside, in a hastily set aside, and Artis says, oh shit, here we go! And actually that's where we're going to leave it for this session.
Cliffhanger!
Now I won't be dragon bait, I'll be fish bait.
Ooh ha ha.
Fish bait.
Maybe it's a shark, you never know.
Yeah, I have to question the wisdom of bringing someone called Dragon Bait to a dragon.
Yeah.
You're right, we should have had him going down into the water to test it out. Oh, alright. Well, thanks again, everybody, for coming out for another episode of Dungeons & Dragons 5th Edition, Tomb of Annihilation, with our faithful dragon hunting group of necromancer hunters as well. I don't know what we are yet. We still don't have a group name. We're going to have to come up with something. Anyway, maybe people will have some ideas in the comments. All right.
Boy.
Oh boy, yeah.
Incoming.
Yeah, it does. No McBoatface anything. All right, so that's it. I hope everybody enjoyed. Thanks again, players and viewers, one alike. So have a good evening, and we'll see you hopefully next week. Bye.
Bye.